This audiobook is a non-profit fan adaptation of the web novel The Primitive Ancient Snake. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelverseaudio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 451. At this moment, on the other hand, in a primeval forest. This place was originally the base of the Bailey clan, but at this moment, the indigenous tribe encountered an unprecedented disaster. The entire settlement was surrounded by beacon smoke, and there were countless casualties. Countless members of the Bailey clan were screaming in agony, and the earth was destroyed. The earthquake cracked open, there was tragedy everywhere, and rivers of blood flowed. And the people who slaughtered these Bailashi were a group of terrifying beings wearing red armor, exuding a murderous aura, holding bloodthirsty spears. They were like mindless steel-killing machines, and like wolves entering the flock of sheep, they slaughtered a large group of Bailey clan members in one sprint. Even if they encountered casualties, no one would flinch. They were not afraid of death, or, in other words, they didn't know death at all, so what exactly was fear? Blood 18. Why did your blood god kingdom invade our Bailey tribe? We don't offend the river. So why do we want to slaughter my Bailey clan? At this time, the Bailey clan leader gritted his teeth and stared at the strong man in front of him who was wearing blood-colored clothes, with 2 horns on his head and red eyes. He looked like a demon. He was so filled with hatred that he wanted to tear these guys into pieces.
Duan.
It was precisely because of the appearance of this group of guys that the Bailey clan suffered a disaster. Nuwa was a large tribe, and many clan members died. They suffered unprecedented heavy losses. And this bloody 18 was also the generals of the nearby famous kingdom. Blood God Kingdom hold hundreds of millions of troops, and their own strength has reached the level of the Hongmeng sage. He has mastered 2,700 laws of the Great Road, and is a powerful existence second only to the Lord of the Universe. As soon as it took action, it shattered the resistance of many elders and clan leaders of the Bailey clan, killing many elders instantly and cutting their bodies into thousands of pieces, showing its ferocious strength. Why? Hearing this, Xianxia said lightly, "It's really stupid. There are so many reasons on the origin continent. The jungle eats the strong, and the strong is respected. If you want to blame it, it's your Bailey tribe that is too weak." You. The Bailey clan leader gritted his teeth and was extremely angry. But you can rest assured that the 17 surrounding indigenous tribes will also follow your Bailey tribe on the road. This time, none of them can escape, and they will all die. Xianxia said lightly, with a pair of eyes showing a strong murderous intent. What? Are you planning to attack the other 17 tribes as well, not just our Bailey tribe? The leader of the Bailey clan was shocked and seemed to have thought of something. Wait a minute. The leader of your blood god kingdom is the blood god of Ding Ding. He often swallows the essence, blood and soul of all things, constantly increasing his strength, and every time he wakes up. Billions of blood food need to be swallowed. And now you actually want to kill 18 tribes in a row. You must want to capture and kill us and sacrifice our blood to the blood god. However, the amount required this time is extraordinary. Your cultivation has reached a critical moment, so you are forced to leave the kingdom of Blood God, killing people everywhere and capturing blood food. He stared at the Blood God 18. To be honest, the Blood God Kingdom is a very powerful kingdom. There are 18 generals under its banner. Each general has reached the level of Hongmeng Saint and is close to the Lord of the Universe. And this Blood God Kingdom Ba is just one of them. Now the other 17 tribes have been attacked. It is obvious that this time the generals of the Blood God Kingdom have simply come out in full force. You know so much. Xianxia's eyes showed a ferocious look, and his body was filled with killing intent. He immediately wanted to kill the Bailey clan leader. Such a smart person must not be retained. After all, the Blood God Kingdom also has enemies. If the kings of other kingdoms find out about the situation of the Blood God Kingdom, they may not know how much trouble it will cause, and it may even put the kings in great danger. Blood 18. If your Blood God Kingdom slaughters my Bailey clan, you will not end well. Even if I die, I will drag you to die with me." Suddenly, the Bailey clan leader roared angrily, and an aura of extreme destruction immediately erupted from him, as if a terrifying wave of destruction erupted. "No, this guy wants to blow himself up and die with us. Retreat, retreat now." Xianxia showed a terrifying light and shouted loudly,
"Boom tilde tilde."
But at this moment, the body of the Bailey clan leader immediately exploded, and his soul, body, flesh and blood, and even every cell, etc., were transformed into a terrifying bomb. The explosion of a powerful man of the Hongmeng Saint level was no less than the explosion of billions of worlds. The destructive power produced was simply unimaginable. In an instant, hundreds of millions of light years in a radius were destroyed by the power of this explosion. It spread across 9 heavens and 10 lands, producing waves of terrifying fluctuations that caused cracks all around. Blood God Kingdom soldiers from all directions also encountered such explosions, and were blown to pieces in an instant. Even their armors were blown away. It must be wiped out. If it were other worlds, I am afraid that the entire world would have been destroyed by the explosion of Hongmeng Saint. But this is the origin continent, and the laws are extremely strong. The hardness of soil and stone is beyond the imagination of life in other worlds. Even if it is the continent of origin, the laws are extremely strong. It was the self-destruction of Hongmeng Saint, and it only caused a little damage to the earth. Damn it, this damn Bailey clan leader, even if he is dead, has brought us so much trouble. With a whoosh, Xianxia's voice came out from the thick smoke. His eyes were fixed on the dead Bailey clan leader, and his face was very gloomy. Although he had used the supreme magic just now to avoid most of the due to the power of the explosion, he did not suffer much damage, but many of his soldiers were killed just now. "Don't worry, General. We evaded quite quickly, and only 20% of the soldiers died." A gray-faced lieutenant general came over.
Crash.
I saw the flesh and blood of Blood God Kingdom soldiers that were originally scattered on the ground and torn apart, but now they kept squirming and finally came together to form a complete individual. Originally, the soldiers who thought they were dead are now resurrected one by one. This is the horror of the soldiers of the Blood God Kingdom. Each of them has practiced the Blood God's immortality technique. Even if there is a drop of blood left, they can be reborn with a drop of blood. They have the ability's super strong recovery power. Unless every drop of blood is completely destroyed to kill them completely, they will not die. Blood God Kingdom soldiers also rely on this ability to run rampant in this area. Not many people from other countries dare to compete with the Blood God Kingdom. This also makes the Blood God Kingdom spread far and wide, making countless lives fearful. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 452. However, this technique is not without its shortcomings, that is, it is bloodthirsty, and it attacks from time to time. This also made the soldiers of the Blood God Kingdom become murderous, slaughtering people at every turn, devouring the essence and blood of countless lives, and countless tribes and races died at their hands. Such unscrupulous behavior has also become a thorn in the flesh of countless forces, becoming a famous demon kingdom, and everyone can punish it. There have been several times when several kingdoms have joined forces to try to encircle the Blood God Kingdom and eradicate this scourge. However, under the protection of the leader of the Blood God Kingdom, the attacks of these kingdoms were withstood. So far, the Blood God Kingdom is still standing, making countless lives frightened. Well, it's not bad. If you can survive 80% of Hongmeng Saint's self-destruction power, you must have practiced hard. General Xianxia nodded. I didn't expect that the leader of the Bailey clan was so bloody that he would dare to self-destruct and die with us. You must know that once he self-destructs, his soul will be destroyed, and he will not be resurrected no matter what. Next time, I won't let this happen again. He clenched his fists and remembered the lesson learned this time. But Sir General, although we have wiped out most of the elites of the Bailey clan, there are still some fish that slipped through the net. The young clan leader of the Bailey clan is also his daughter Bailey Ying and some of her followers, an old housekeeper. He took the opportunity to run away. A lieutenant general said in a deep voice, and they also took most of the treasures of the Bailey tribe and escaped. Even the treasure of the Bailey tribe is in their hands.
What?
If there is such a thing, hunt it down immediately. These treasures must fall into the hands of our blood god kingdom. Although these indigenous tribes do not have much strength, they are at least native to the continent of origin. They have strong luck. Maybe they really have something powerful left behind. Treasures, maybe even cosmic secret treasures. Xianxia shouted loudly. Don't worry, Sir General. I have sent many blood slaves to hunt them down, and we have marked each other's aura. Even if we run to the ends of the earth, it is impossible to escape our pursuit. The deputy general clenched his fists. That's good. You first escort all these blood foods back to the blood food kingdom. The Lord's cultivation is at a critical moment and requires a large amount of blood food as energy. Once the leader of the country breaks through, his strength will definitely be able to catch up to the next level. By then, several surrounding countries will become slaves of our blood god kingdom, and our blood god kingdom will also become one of the most powerful kingdoms nearby. Xianxia's eyes showed a glimmer of light. Yes, General. Many soldiers shouted loudly. They also knew that this matter was of great importance and could not be lost. Once the master's strength increased, they would also gain endless benefits. However, the remnants of the Bailey tribe must be captured, and all the treasures must be obtained. I will sacrifice these treasures to the Lord of the Kingdom. I believe that the Lord of the Kingdom will be extremely happy by then. Xianxia's eyes revealed a ferocious light. And in the distance, in a forest, just at this place, a dozen figures appeared. They were in extremely miserable condition, with scars all over their bodies and tattered clothes, as if they were refugees from somewhere. The leader is a woman. She is Bailey Ying, the young master of the Bailey clan, but her strength is only at the level of the Kaition Saint, and she has mastered more than 100 laws of the Great Road. The strongest among this group of people is an old man in gray robes. He is the supreme elder of the Bailey clan. His strength has reached the level of the Hongming Saint, and he has mastered 2,000 laws of the Great Road. The person who was able to escape this time was the gray-robed elder Bailey Quan. The other dozen were all talented disciples of the Bailey clan. However, they had not grown up. At most, they had just become saints. This strength is just cannon fodder in the origin continent. Elder Quan, who is my father? At this moment, Bailey Ying suddenly sensed something, and her face suddenly changed. Due to the blood relationship between father and daughter, she sensed the disappearance of her father's life. I'm afraid it has self-destructed and fallen. Hearing this, the elder Bailiquin sighed and said very helplessly. In fact, he knew the decision of the Bailey clan leader from the beginning. In order to create a chance for them to escape, the Bailey clan leader decided to blow himself up and kill them. This group of Blood God Kingdom soldiers and generals, even if they can't kill them all, can still severely damage some of them. This. When Bailey Ying heard these words, she almost fainted. You have to be strong and don't waste the escape opportunity your father created for us. Now we are the only ones left in the entire Bailey clan. If we all die, who else can avenge the clan members? Elder Bailey Quan shouted loudly, which was like a blow to the head. Yes, Elder, I understand. Bailey Ying touched the tears on her face, clenched her fists, and suppressed the anger deep in her heart. Elder, what should we do now? Several young people from the Bailey clan next to them looked at the elder Bailiquin worriedly. Now that the Bailey clan has been destroyed and they are being chased by soldiers from the Blood God Kingdom, they are simply desperate. It doesn't matter, there is a country nearby. Its name is Jin. This country is very powerful. Even the Blood God Kingdom does not dare to provoke us at will. As long as we enter the Jin Kingdom, I am afraid that the Blood God Kingdom will not dare to pursue us. Elder Bailiquin said in a deep voice. Jin Kingdom? Hearing this, the dozen or so young people from the Bailey clan suddenly felt a little more relaxed. Of course, they knew about the existence of the Jin Kingdom. Usually, they would know what precious materials the clan needed to purchase, heading to the kingdom of Jin. But this time it's not to buy anything, but to take refuge. Oops, those blood slaves are already chasing us. Let's run away. At this moment, Elder Bailey Quan's expression changed, as if he sensed something. Bloody shadows flew from a distance, hiding in the void, and they quickly chased here. These blood slaves are members of the Blood God Kingdom. Once the pursuers are entangled by them, I'm afraid they will definitely die. Whoosh whoosh. As soon as the words fell, the faces of the young people of the Bailey clan changed drastically. Bailey Ying and others were all panicked, and they were all panicking. Run away towards the distance, not daring to stay here at all. Wait, there seems to be someone in front. At this moment, Bailey Ying seemed to sense something. She suddenly sensed a stream in front of her and a spacious open space in front of her. And in this open space, a huge shelf suddenly appeared, and the fire burned. A Thunder Ox origin beast was being grilled above, making a sizzling sound, with a delicious aroma that made people salivate. She looked over, and there were 3 figures standing there, 2 women and 1 man. The man was so angry, he was calmly grilling the source beast, while the 2 women were looking at the oily source beast with saliva, as if they wanted to pounce on it immediately. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 453. How dare you have a barbecue here? So brave. Seeing the appearance of these 3 figures, Elder Bailey Quan's pupils shrank. He sensed that the auras of these 3 seemed to be ordinary, as if they were not as good as his own. But how dare he barbecue in the jungle full of dangers? You are so bold. After all, this jungle has countless powerful creatures with all kinds of weird abilities. Even a Hongmeng saint like him, who has mastered 2,000 laws of the Great Road, dare not act arrogantly in this jungle. For fear of being this place attracted the attention of some creature, and it was killed. Anyone who dared to barbecue in this jungle, if they are not highly skilled and brave, are idiots. Who of the people who may survive in the origin continent are idiots? Let's go. Don't create any extraneous problems. The Elder Bailiquan sent a message with his spiritual consciousness, asking his dozen or so clan members not to cause trouble here. Hearing this, Bailey Ying and others nodded. They are not idiots. They usually get support from the elders in the clan. Teach us that you must not underestimate any creature in the origin continent. No matter how harmless it seems to humans or animals, you must be extremely careful. Shipwrecks in the sewers often happen. And now they are also in the process of escaping, so naturally they cannot cause trouble here. And these 3 people are none other than Furukawa, the World Tree Girl, and the Star Tree Girl. After capturing a large number of creatures in Furuchuan and filling the Book of Mountains and Seas, they set off in the direction of Jin, and then temporarily stayed there to rest for a while, and then captured a source beast to barbecue, which was regarded as a temporary rest. Furukawa, there seem to be natives of this world over there? They won't come to eat us, right? The World Tree Girl saw the group of people from the Bailey clan and looked curious. Ignore them, as long as they don't cause trouble. If they dare to cause trouble, they will all be killed. Furukawa was very calm and didn't care about such trivial matters at all. To be honest, the strength of these Bailey clan members was average. Even when he arrived in a clone, he was not afraid at all, and it goes without saying now. But he didn't expect it. He will meet this group of Bailashi people again, and these Bailashi people seem to have encountered a lot of trouble, facing a life and death crisis. But such things have nothing to do with him. He is just a passerby, that's all. I see. The World Tree Girl and the Star Tree Girl both nodded and felt relieved. Since even Furukawa said this, then this group of natives from the origin continent are not much of a threat. They looked at the roasted origin beast in front of them with great peace of mind. Smelling the fragrance, almost salivated. It is indeed a creature from the continent of origin. The original energy contained in that kind of meat, even a piece of meat, is comparable to those heavenly materials and earthly treasures in the chaotic universe. If you eat it, this source beast must be able to greatly increase the energy in his body, and enhance his cultivation. Oh no, those blood slaves and soldiers from the Blood God Kingdom are chasing us. At this moment, Bailey Ying's face changed drastically, as if she sensed an unknown danger coming from a distance. How could it be so fast? Elder Biliquin couldn't believe it. They had tried their best to escape just now, and they kept setting up traps to mislead them, but now they are still caught up. Damn it, it's the bloody arrow from the Kingdom of Blood God. A young man from the Bailey clan shouted. He sensed thousands of bloody arrows being shot directly from a distance. Each bloody arrow contained a terrifying blood evil spirit, like a rainbow piercing the sun, penetrating the void. These arrows are the famous blood evil arrows of the Blood God Kingdom. It is said that they are made from a blood pool in the Blood God Kingdom that contains billions of trillions of years of blood. In just one arrow, it contains infinite evil power. If it is hit, it will be eroded by these poisonous evils in an instant, and the flesh, and soul will be completely corroded. Even if the Hongmeng Saint is hit, it will be difficult to remove the poison on the arrow. Blood evil toxin. It is conceivable that these blood evil arrows are terrifying, and they will definitely frighten countless lives. Many members of the Bailey clan died under the blood evil arrows before. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, thousands of bloody arrows attacked, covering this area, containing terrifying murderous intent, as if they wanted to annihilate all the people of the Bailey clan here. Bailey, Divine Fist. At this moment, the elder Bailey Quan roared angrily and punched directly to kill him. The power of his fist condensed into substance, as if 2,000 laws of the Great Road were condensed into one, vast and boundless.
Boom.
This punch blasted out, earth-shattering. A vast fist seal was formed. In an instant, thousands of bloody arrows were knocked down in midair and flew directly out. Time and space in all directions were severely shaken. Amazing! A group of Bilishi geniuses stared with wide eyes and were filled with admiration. Elder. But Bailey Ying's expression changed drastically, and she looked at the elder Biliquin. There was a pop, and a trace of blood showed at the corner of Biliquin's mouth. It was obvious that this punch was also a heavy burden on him. If it was ordinary at that time, this punch was nothing at all, but after experiencing a genocide battle, Bailey Quan was besieged by the soldiers and generals of the Blood God Kingdom, and he had been severely injured. In addition, he fled all the way, and his internal injuries continued to worsen, and now he can no longer use much fighting power. It can be said that if he were not a strong man at the level of Hongmeng Saint, he would have vomited blood and died. Don't be nervous. Let's go quickly. Bailey Quan waved his hand, wanting to call Bailey Ying and others to leave this place quickly. Still want to leave? Do you think our Kingdom of Blood God is some rotten fish? Just leave if you want. At this moment, hundreds of blood-colored figures appeared in the distance. Each one was wearing blood-colored armor, holding a long bow, and seemed to be riding a strange beast with wings on its back. They flew directly and arrived here. In an instant, Bailey Ying and others were surrounded, and it was overwhelming. Blood 17. How did you get here so quickly? Elder Biliquin's expression suddenly changed when he saw the tall general leading him, because the opponent was the famous 18 Blood God generals of the Blood God Kingdom, rank 17th, with unparalleled combat power, 3 points stronger than himself. To be honest, even in his heyday, he didn't have much confidence to defeat the opponent. What's more, now he has been seriously injured and doesn't have much fighting power, so how can he be the opponent's opponent? He actually encountered this level at the most dangerous moment. His opponent, is God going to destroy his Bailey tribe? Thinking of this, Bailey Quan was filled with sadness, his face was ashen, and he was extremely desperate. He knew that according to the current situation, no matter what his group of people would be, there was no way they could escape. They would definitely die. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 454. After annihilating the Xianxia tribe, I happened to hear the news that the Bailey tribe had slipped through the net, so I chased after them. You are unlucky because you happen to pass through the territory I am responsible for. Xianxia rode a strange beast, looked down from a high position, and looked at the Bailey people indifferently. God wants to destroy me, Bailashi. Hearing this, Bailey Quan couldn't help but spit out another mouthful of blood. General, there seem to be 3 strangers here. How should we deal with them? At this moment, a deputy general also saw 3 weird guys having a barbecue next to him. The saints who created the sky are nothing more than ants. Kill them all together. Wherever my blood god general goes, not a single blade of grass will grow. Xianxia's divine consciousness swept lightly, and he instantly sensed the strength of the 3 people and immediately didn't care about it. They were just sages who opened the sky, and they were just ants. They are innocent passers-by and have nothing to do with them. If you want to kill us, just kill us. Why implicate innocent people? Bailey shouted and stood up, her eyes showing anger. Stupid, I, the kingdom of blood god, need to explain to you what I am doing. I can kill you if you want. No one can stop me. If you keep chirping again, I will kill their whole family and eradicate the roots. Xianxia sneered, and endless blood evil energy burst out. The evil energy soared into the sky, shaking the void of hundreds of millions of kilometers. Obviously, this group of people acted unscrupulously and were used to killing people. Kill if you want. You guys are quite brave. At this moment, Furukawa, who was having a barbecue and wanted to stay out of the matter, couldn't turn a blind eye. Originally, he didn't want to pay attention to this kind of vendetta. After all, there were too many such things in the origin continent, and he couldn't handle it at all. But what kind of blood? Xianxia actually wants to kill them all together. This is a bit too much. Haha, who do you think you are? Our blood god kingdom wants to kill people. Who dares to stop us? A lieutenant shouted loudly, bent his bow and arrow, and immediately wanted to kill Furukawa.
Whoosh.
In an instant, Furukawa flicked his fingers, and a strong wind blasted past him. With lightning speed, it seemed that everything was broken. It was like opening up time and space, and it hit the deputy general at once. There was a bang, and the next second, the deputy general's body was shattered in an instant. Even his soul and body were shattered into powder at this moment and turned into ashes. What? Seeing this scene, Blood 17 and others were severely shocked. They simply couldn't believe it. You must know that although this deputy general has not reached the realm of Hongmeng Saint, he is just a Kaitian saint, but he has also mastered 1,200 avenues of law are extremely powerful. But now they were easily shocked to death by this guy just by flicking his fingers. This is incredible. And the most important thing is that they all practice the blood god's immortality as long as there is one cell left. A drop of blood can be easily regenerated, reaching the state of rebirth with a drop of blood. But the deputy general still died. Not even a drop of blood or a cell was left, and he was completely wiped out. This is worse than anything else. They were all shocked. So strong. Elder Bailey Quan's pupils also contracted. As a Hongmeng saint, he could feel the terror of that blow just now. Even a Hongmeng saint of his level wanted to kill a Kaitian saint who mastered 1,200 great laws. Couldn't do it with such lightness and weight. The clouds were light and the wind was light, just like squeezing an ant to death. He felt that the blow just now was not just as simple as killing the lieutenant completely, but also the power the control reached the peak level, without leaking anything, and just enough power to kill the enemy. If this is the case, it can only be said that this mysterious figure's control of power has probably reached a level that he could not imagine. And levels. You bastard, you actually dare to kill my general of the Blood God Kingdom. You are asking for your own death. At this time, Blood 17 was angry, furious, and furious. Do you know what a heinous crime you have committed? No one in the world can save you. Go ahead and shoot me a bunch of arrows to kill this beast. He immediately issued an order to his thousands of subordinates. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, these elite soldiers of the Blood God Kingdom immediately bent their bows and set arrows, using the huge energy in their bodies. They wanted to use blood evil arrows to shoot Furukawa into a hornet's nest. Madness. Furukawa grabbed it with his big hand and immediately took out a book of magical powers, the Book of Gangfeng. He opened the book gently.
Crash.
In an instant, just by releasing a page of the book, a black doomsday wind blew out from the book, whistling and producing terrifying destructive power. With Furukawa's body as the center, bursts of apocalyptic winds blew away, and the speed was incredibly fast. Even the speed of light was completely incomparable. This. Shueishichi and others' eyes widened. After seeing Furukawa take out this book of magical powers, their hair stood up. They felt the fatal crisis, trembled all over, and tried to escape. But it was too late. They were originally far away from Furukawa. It's extremely close, only a few hundred meters away at most, and the speed of the doomsday wind is so fast, even the speed of light cannot match it. Such a short distance, such a fast speed, how can they dodge?
Boom.
I saw this doomsday wind blowing away. In the eyes of Bailey Ng and others, it was just a breeze blowing out. It was silent and did not seem to cause much damage. They could not even feel any power. Fluctuation. But at this moment, Blood 17 and others died, including the strange beasts they were riding. All died at this moment.
Crash.
The breeze beside them blew gently, and the bodies of Blood 17 and others were like gravel, pouring down from the place in an instant and turning into dust on the earth. Even the blood evil arrows, armor, bloodthirsty guns, and other magic weapons on their bodies were all weathered at this moment, like glass, without even the residue remaining. It seemed like a breeze blew by and wiped them out from between heaven and earth. The most terrifying thing is that this power has also spread to the surroundings. Big trees and rocks were all shaken into powder by the doomsday wind at this moment and razed to the ground. Silence. The whole world fell silent at this moment. Bailey Ng and others were stunned. Their minds went blank, and they seemed to be completely in shock. They had no idea what happened just now. At this moment, Furukawa gently closed the Book of Gangfeng. With a snap and a soft sound, Bailey Ng and others were slightly disturbed, saving them from their state of confusion. This. Elder, what happened just now? Why did the Blood 17 and others suddenly disappear in an instant? Did they run away? Bailey Ng was stunned. She turned around and looked at the Elder Biliquin next to her, her eyes full of questioning. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 455. Run. Hearing Bailey Ng's question, the Elder Biliquin couldn't help but swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and his spiritual consciousness said, "This person has run away. He is obviously dead. They are all dead, not even for a second. Hold on, and it will be wiped out in an instant." His whole body was trembling slightly, and his eyes showed an extremely shocked look. Impossible. Dead? He died instantly, and was still wiped out in ashes. Some young people from the Bailey clan couldn't believe this. He felt that it was just a matter of seconds. How could the Blood 17 and others be wiped out in ashes? This is too exaggerated. How could it be possible? That Blood 17 was the Hongmeng Saint, a super strong man who surpassed the elders. He was said to have mastered more than 2,700 great laws. How could he die in an instant? Bailey Ng was also dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. She looked at the Elder Biliquin like this. Yes, it is said that these soldiers and generals of the Blood God Kingdom have all practiced the Blood God's immortality technique. Even if a drop of blood remains, they can be reborn instantly with a drop of blood, and their recovery ability is extremely strong. Yes, this group of Blood God Kingdom soldiers fought with our Bailey clan warriors before. Even if their heads were chopped off, their hands and feet were still alive, and they had fierce fighting power. It is precisely because of this terrifying resilience and defense that our Bailey clan lost so miserably and had no power to fight back. But now we are dead, instantly? It was just an illusion. It must have been an illusion. Maybe we were under some kind of illusion. The geniuses of the Bailey clan transmitted their voices one after another, and there was a lot of discussion. They simply couldn't believe their eyes, and they couldn't believe that these notorious Blood God Kingdom warriors died so easily. "Shut up," Elder Biliquin shouted lowly. "You are considered to be some powerful people after all, don't you feel it?" The soul fluctuations in the Blood God Kingdom's warriors were gone and completely disappeared. They were already certain to die. You may still suspect that they may have escaped, but where could they escape in such a short period of time? Could they escape in an instant to a place that we cannot detect? He stared at the Bailey clan and others. "But Elder, if they really die, then—" Bailey Ying's pupils shrank, and she suddenly thought of a terrifying possibility. Her body could not help but tremble slightly at this moment, and her eyes looking at Furukawa became extremely odd. Yes, you guessed it right. He could kill Blood 17 so easily and wipe out all these Blood God Kingdom warriors in an instant. Only the Lord of the Universe can have such an existence. Only the Lord of the Universe can do this. Terrifying strength. Speaking of this, Elder Bailey Quan's throat became a little dry, and his body was trembling. Even though he is an elder of Bailey clan and also a Hongmeng saint, in his long years, he has never seen the Lord of the Universe. The number of them is simply handful. Although there are countless powerful people in the origin continent, there are also many Hongmeng saints. The problem is that the number of lords of the universe is very small. Only one Lord of the Universe can be born among countless Hongmeng saints. The probability is outrageously low. But in the origin continent, only the Lord of the Universe can be considered a truly strong man and can be regarded as the true Dinghai Shenzhen that protects a large race. And an existence like the Lord of the Universe is also the leader of Shenlong. No end in sight. On weekdays, I either go into seclusion or go on adventures in dangerous places. Where can I see it so easily? Lord of the Universe? Hearing this, Bailey Ying and others took a deep breath. They were so shocked that they looked at Furukawa in awe. After all, he was the supreme being in the origin continent. Even if in the origin continent where there are so many powerful people, the Lord of the Universe can be regarded as a powerful person. That is the powerful existence of the Lord of a country. He is usually a big figure who can't see the dragon, even the elders of the Bailey clan. They have never seen such an existence several times. But now they actually see one here. How incredible this is. Stupid, I was so stupid just now. Elder Bailey Quan's body was trembling slightly. The so-called skilled people are bold and dare to barbecue in such a dangerous jungle without minding the attacks of other powerful creatures. This kind of behavior even Hongmeng saints dare not do. But the other party dared. It is conceivable that he must be the Lord of the Universe. Only the Lord of the Universe dares to do such a thing in such a jungle and does not care about the attacks of any living creatures. After all, who dares to attack the Lord of the Universe unless he is desperate for his life? He recalled the many doubts about the meeting just now and became more and more sure of Furukawa's identity and became more and more awed in his heart. At this time, Furukawa also put away the Book of Gangfeng on his body. He was very satisfied with the power of the Book of Gangfeng just now. It was just a small test, and he easily killed a group of strong men, including Saint Hongmeng. They couldn't stop it for even a second, and were instantly shocked to death by the doomsday wind and wiped out directly. It is conceivable that the power of this Gangfeng book is extremely terrifying, much more powerful than the original Gangfeng Doomsday. This is also because it was refined by him and instilled with a lot of origin energy, so the power of the Gangfeng book has been greatly improved compared to the end of Gangfeng. Sure enough, this is a Doomsday-level spell. Fortunately, Gangfeng Doomsday was not allowed to grow. Once it grew up, the life of the entire chaotic universe would be wiped out by the power of Doomsday Gangfeng. Furukawa was also very emotional in his heart. Everyone was shocked. At this moment, they also sensed an uninvited guest outside the Blood God Kingdom. At this time, outside the Kingdom of Blood God, under the leadership of the puppet Blood 13, Furukawa and others finally arrived at the outskirts of the Blood God Kingdom. This was a hidden valley surrounded by extremely remote mountains and mountains. At this moment, the entire valley was surrounded by a large blood-colored formation, surrounded by bloody mist, making it difficult to see what was going on inside the valley. But this place is filled with the terrifying blood evil spirit. Inside the mist, countless terrifying bloody skeletons appear from time to time, as if there is an endless sea of blood hiding in it, which is frightening. Is this the Blood God Kingdom? Seeing this scene, Bailey Ng and others felt chills all over. No wonder not many people are willing to come to the Blood God Kingdom. What kind of country is this? It is simply a devil's cave. If Furukawa hadn't let it, I'm afraid they don't dare to get close to this place at all. If they go deep into it, they may be completely corroded by the bloody mist that permeates here all day long. Interesting. Furukawa squinted his eyes. He used his all-knowing eye and instantly saw through the mystery of the Blood God Kingdom. There is a lake under this valley, which is similar to the Nether Sea of Blood, but even more terrifying. It is precisely because of this blood the sea contains incomparable grievances and evil spirits, so the leader of the Blood God Kingdom will use this place as a stronghold to establish the Blood God Kingdom. And these residents of the Blood God Kingdom often devour the blood energy here to quickly strengthen themselves. The cultivation level of the Blood God Kingdom. I am afraid that the leader of the Blood God Kingdom has completely integrated with this sea of blood. If the Blood Sea is immortal, then the leader of the Blood God Kingdom will not be destroyed. This is because it has done many evil things and killed countless people, but it has never been destroyed. The reason why how many universe masters can kill it? Sir, this Blood God Kingdom is extremely dangerous. Elder Biliquin said in a deep voice, I am afraid that this place has long been built as a lair by the Lord of the Blood God Kingdom. It is like an iron barrel and is difficult to break. A chaos restriction formation, Blood Sea Formation, has been deployed throughout the valley. If you want to enter the Kingdom of Blood God, you must break through this Blood Sea Formation, but according to the power of this formation, it may be difficult to break through. When he saw the momentum of the Blood God Kingdom's lair, his heart suddenly went cold. If they want to take revenge with their strength, it will be impossible in this life. Then just break this formation. Furukawa said calmly.
What?
Bailey Ng and others' eyes widened. They didn't understand what Furukawa was talking about, because this is a chaotic formation. Even the Lord of the Universe is not that easy to break through. I just saw this at this moment. Furukawa took out a book from his body, the Book of Stars. On the cover of this book, densely packed stars appeared. Each one was huge and vast, like a vast world. Just when you can feel the terror of these stars from the cover. They contain unparalleled power of stars, as if each star can easily suppress the boundless chaos of time and space. Fall. Furukawa opened the Book of Stars and threw it out.
Crash.
In an instant, this Book of Stars seemed to cover hundreds of millions of light years of chaotic time and space, and suddenly turned into a starry sky. Countless stars floated in the starry sky, blooming with brilliant starlight, penetrating infinite time and space. The next second, the countless stars that were originally hanging in the sky seemed to be attracted by a mysterious force and fell directly towards the valley where the Blood God Kingdom was located. These are billions of stars. Each one is as vast as the vast world. At the same time, each star is entangled with extremely rich, chaotic airflow, which is enough to obliterate all forbidden formations. Rumble. Immediately, billions of stars fell from the sky, almost covering the entire Blood God Kingdom, producing terrifying and extremely powerful power, which seemed to explode with world-destroying power. At the moment when these stars fell, many generals who were staying in the Blood God Kingdom immediately sensed this danger. Their expressions changed drastically, sensing the inexplicable danger. Bastard! What kind of bastard invaded our Blood God Kingdom? You actually dare to attack our Kingdom of Blood God. You are tired of living. You are too dissatisfied with your longevity. You bastards, if you dare to run wild on the territory of our Kingdom of Blood God, you are asking for your own death. A series of angry shouts erupted from within the Blood God Kingdom, exploding like thunder in the void, and countless waves of blood-evil energy blasted towards these stars. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 460.
Bang, bang, bang.
Billions of blood energy turned into blood dragons, attacking the stars in the sky, making earth-shattering roars and rolling sound waves, trying to knock down these stars in midair. But such an attack is completely useless. When these blood dragons bombarded the stars, they were instantly wiped out by the chaotic airflow around the stars. At the same time, the terrifying power of the stars fell down, shattering countless blood energy at once, making them invincible. The weight of these stars is simply beyond the imagination of the generals of the Blood God Kingdom. They feel as if they are attacking a boundless world, carrying the weight of billions of living beings. How is it possible that our attack has no effect at all? What kind of star is this, and how can it be so terrifying? Damn it, every star above contains a powerful chaos restriction. Our attacks were wiped out as soon as we got close. They couldn't harm the essence of these stars at all. How could so many stars suddenly appear? No, this is not a real star, but a magical power. But no matter what this is, these stars must be blocked, otherwise the entire Blood God Kingdom will be destroyed. Use the Blood God Formation. Only by using this National Protector Formation can we stop these stars from falling. Many generals of the Blood God Kingdom were talking about it. Their faces were extremely solemn, and they felt a huge crisis.
Wow.
In an instant, the masters of the entire Blood God Kingdom immediately took action. They appeared in every corner of the formation, serving as nodes of the formation and instilling huge source energy. Immediately, the Blood God Formation rose into the sky, and the endless blood-colored mist quickly condensed, just like countless chaos restriction formations gathered together. At the same time, countless blood-colored mist also condensed into substance, seemingly turning into a boundless sea of blood, which instantly enveloped the entire Blood God Kingdom, leaving almost no gaps. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, billions of stars fell down and hit the boundless sea of blood, creating a terrifying shaking force that seemed to destroy everything. Blocked. Suddenly, the masters of the Blood God Kingdom were extremely excited. They found that the stars fell into the sea of blood. It seemed that they fell into the sea of blood all at once and were slowed down by countless impact forces. If this continues, the entire sea of blood will be swallowing all these stars up, will be like meteorites falling into the sea, causing no big ripples. Chaos Zhou Star Formation. Furukawa pointed lightly.
Boom, tilde.
The next second, the billions of stars seemed to be spinning under the control of a chaotic formation. The forbidden formations inside the stars were activated, and they were intertwined with each other. Together. At this moment, it seems that these stars are combined with a special law to form a star array. The endless starlight is constantly flashing, penetrating the chaotic time and space in all directions. At this time, the power of countless stars has increased more than 10 times in vain. It seems that the power that was originally scattered is quickly condensed under the influence of the chaotic star array. It is like the 10 scattered fingers are gathered together at this moment, turning into a powerful fist, fiercely moving towards the blood sea formation punched down.
Boom.
At this moment, billions of stars shook slightly, producing devastating fluctuations. It seemed that the entire Blood God Kingdom was shaking violently at this moment, as if it was encountering billions of like the impact of 1,000 worlds. This large formation was rattling and crumbling, and even the earth was cracked. Puff. Immediately, these masters of the Blood God Kingdom could not withstand such an astonishing impact. They were seriously injured in an instant. They couldn't help spitting out a mouthful of blood, and their souls were severely damaged. Some weak lives were even more like this. He was directly shocked to death by the impact, torn into pieces and turned into powder. The entire blood god formation was completely shattered by the power of the stars at this moment. Even the blood god kingdom was shattered to pieces at this moment. Many buildings inside they were all shattered into rubble. The bloody mist that originally enveloped the blood god kingdom also disappeared at this moment, and an unfathomable valley was immediately revealed. Ancient buildings one after another appeared in front of Bailey Ing and others. So amazing! When Bailey Ing and others saw this scene, they were simply stunned. They had no idea that just one spell could easily completely shatter the blood god kingdom's national defense formation. And this national defense formation was completely shattered. After the formation collapsed, many blood god kingdom generals also suffered backlash. They immediately vomited blood and fell to the ground. Some weak lives directly had their souls shattered and died. Such casualties were too heavy. But this was just the beginning. Billions of after the stars fell. Each star was spinning, blooming with infinite starlight. Each starlight could easily penetrate the void. The endless starlight intertwined with each other, simply shattering the area, and one starlight after another blasted out. Easily they strangled every living being in the blood god kingdom. Even if these blood god kingdom soldiers were immortal, they would be shattered into powder after being strangled hundreds of millions of times. Every powerful blood god kingdom general died instantly. It's too strong. Is the power of the stars so powerful? Stars appeared in the eyes of the Star Tree Girl. She never thought that the power of the stars could be so powerful. The stacking of billions of stars could suppress everything. And she could see this book of stars. He did not use all his strength, but only used part of his power. If he used all his strength, I am afraid that all the life in the blood god kingdom would be shattered into powder in an instant. Haha, just average, just 1/10 as good as me. Yggdrasil girl bared her teeth. Blood 18 is dead. Blood 13 is also dead. When Bailey Ing and others saw this scene, they were all extremely excited. They felt like a great revenge had been avenged, because it was these blood god kingdom generals who brought the Bailey tribe to the Bailey tribe and made them perish. It can be said that these blood god kingdom generals and soldiers are the culprits. Now that they see these blood god kingdom generals being killed one by one, they feel extremely happy. Although they did not kill them personally, the result is good, so that would be even better. But at this moment, an extremely ferocious aura came from the depths of the blood god kingdom. It was simply so powerful that it swept through the space and time of hundreds of millions of light years. You bastard! You dare to come to our kingdom of blood god and act wild. You are asking for your own death. A loud shout came out, which was extremely angry.
Boom tilde tilde.
Bailey Ing and others were shocked. They were suppressed by this breath and could not move, as if a universe was crushing them, and they could not use it at all.
Use any power you can.
The Lord of the Blood God Kingdom. The one who spoke just now must be the Lord of the Blood God Kingdom. This peerless villain was finally alerted. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 461. Rumble. In an instant, a huge sea of blood appeared in the sky above the Blood God Kingdom. It was simply boundless and exuded an extremely terrifying evil spirit. It seems that every drop of liquid in this sea of blood contains endless resentment, as if it is the dirtiest thing in the world. Once it enters it, it will be completely eroded. Even the entire blood sea is like a universe, and every drop of blood-colored liquid is a small world. Just the aura emanating from this sea of blood easily suppressed this area of time and space. This is the Lord of the Blood God Kingdom, the Lord of the Sea of Blood. Bailey Ing and others all had their pupils contracted, staring at the endless sea of blood in midair. The Lord of the Blood Sea has no special form. It is just an endless sea of blood. It can be said that the entire ocean is the blood god, the true form of the Lord of the Kingdom. To be honest, if they were not supported by the Lord of the Universe, they would not dare to face the Lord of the Blood Sea even if they were killed. The moment they saw the Lord of the Blood Sea, Bailey Ing and others understood yes, they and the sea of blood. The difference between the Lord and God is simply the same as the difference between heaven and earth, the kind that is boundless. Even a Hongmeng saint like Elder Bailey Quan is extremely weak compared to the Lord of the Blood Sea. I am afraid that the Lord of the Blood Sea can kill hundreds of people hundreds of miles wide, with just one breath. Is that you? You destroyed our Blood God Kingdom's National Defense Formation and destroyed many of our Blood God Kingdom's generals. Who gave you the courage to act arrogantly in front of our Lord of the Blood Sea? The Lord of the Blood Sea shouted. It stared at Furukawa and was simply furious. To be honest, now is the critical moment for it to break through and become the Lord of the Medium Universe. It is planning to sacrifice a group of lives and use the power of the essence and blood of these lives. Help itself to break through. But it didn't expect that the Lord of the Universe would come to the door at this time, destroying its opportunity to break through. If it ignored it and continued to break through, I'm afraid all of its men would be slaughtered by this kid, and this it will also interrupt your own opportunity to break through, causing you to fall short of your achievements. So you can imagine the anger in the heart of the Lord of the Blood Sea, hindering other people's path of cultivation. Such hatred is comparable to the hatred of killing one's father and killing one's mother. It is simply unreasonable. We live together. Lord of the Sea of Blood, you have done many evil things, and everyone will punish you. I killed many of your subordinates, which is to do justice for heaven. Just now I was just trying my best, and I just gave you a meeting gift. If you are wise, you can kneel down and surrender immediately and kill him at the neck, and you may be able to avoid the pain of death. Furukawa stood with his hands behind his back and said calmly, I will vote for your sister and die. Hearing this, the Lord of the Blood Sea was absolutely furious. This bastard came to the door and killed many of his men. He just didn't feel guilty. He actually dared to say that he was doing justice for heaven.
He was taking it for himself.
Is it God? The doomsday spell, the Sea of Blood. In an instant, the Lord of the Blood Sea immediately took action. It displayed a supreme doomsday spell, bursting out with the power of 99 reincarnations, which shook all directions. Chaos, time, and space. I saw the boundless sea of blood surging, as if the reincarnation shadows of 99 bloody universes were emerging, just like the 99 universes straddling the chaotic void, shaking the 9 heavens and 10 places.
Wow.
The boundless sea of blood it blasted towards Furukawa and spread, seeming to completely cover the area at once, rolling in like a flood. Even wherever these blood-colored seawater went, it instantly destroyed the surrounding buildings, stones. There are also plants and other things that are corroded to the point of being riddled with holes. Any creature that touches the water of the Sea of Blood will be corroded into a skeleton in an instant, and its flesh and blood will melt away. This is the horror of the Sea of Blood. One of the dirtiest liquids. Even the Lord of the Universe dare not touch it easily. Otherwise the body and soul will be contaminated. And this is also the power of the Lord of the Blood Sea, which is rampant in the world. Once such a pollution power is exerted, even if the Lord of the Intermediate Universe would not dare to confront the Lord of the Blood Sea casually. As for the Lord of the Elementary Universe, he would be even more frightened. Therefore, even if the Lord of the Blood Sea is rampant in this area and kills many people, the Blood God Kingdom will still stand. He did not fall and was never destroyed by other masters of the universe. Trivial skills. Furukawa looked at the Lord of the Sea of Blood indifferently. With a wave of his hand, he immediately threw out a magical book, the Book of Petrification.
Crash.
The Book of Petrification immediately opened, and one page was a world of petrification. From these petrified realms, huge gray auras surged out from the books, endless, as if the petrifying power of the entire universe surged out. When these gray auras surged out, wherever they went, the world everything was petrified and turned into stone sculptures, directly changing the material of their bodies.
What?
The Lord of the Blood Sea saw these petrified breaths surging out, and his pupils immediately shrank, because he found that these gray breaths penetrated his sea of blood at that time. Every drop of liquid in the Blood Sea was petrified with ease, and every drop of blood-colored liquid seemed to be forcibly transformed into gray stone particles. Even the blood sea, the dirtiest liquid in the world, could not withstand this kind of the power of petrification. How can it be? Even my sea of blood can be turned into stone. What kind of power is this? The Lord of the Blood Sea's eyes widened. He simply couldn't believe it. It has been running rampant in the Origin continent for so many years. It relied on the power of the Blood Sea to corrode so much material that it was invincible. But now it has actually met its nemesis and was defeated. This power of petrification corrodes, and even the Sea of Blood cannot withstand this power. But how does it know the power of the Book of Petrification? It itself is a doomsday spell created by the Eater, and the Eater is the title of the universe. The Lord is almost a strong man who stands at the pinnacle of chaos. The doomsday spells created by a strong man of this level are inherently many times more powerful than the Lord of the Sea of Blood. At the same time, Furukawa possesses the power of thousands of reincarnations. The power of the Book of Petrification is many times more powerful than that of the Lord of the Blood Sea, who is just the primary Lord of the universe. It's like water can extinguish fire, but when the fire reaches a certain level, can evaporate water. The same reason. When Furukawa displays this magical power, he can easily crush the power of the Lord of the Blood Sea spell. If this continues, even the body and soul of the Lord of the Blood Sea will be completely petrified into a stone sculpture. The wrath of the Sea of Blood. The Lord of the Blood Sea felt the fatal crisis and immediately shouted loudly. It seemed that the entire boundless sea of blood was boiling, and every drop of liquid was boiling like molten lava. At this moment, the entire blood sea also produced a terrifying flame.
Power. Bang, bang, bang.
In an instant, the petrifying mist that originally spread was isolated in an instant, and the originally petrified body of the blood sea was shattered into pieces. And at this moment, the Lord of the Blood Sea, his body quickly escaped from the scope of the petrified mist. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 462. Seeing the scene, Furukawa raised his eyebrows. This Lord of the Blood Sea is quite capable. He was able to make a prompt decision and quickly get rid of this petrifying power and escape from fatal danger. Damn it, who are you? Why do you want to deal with me? The Lord of the Blood Sea. The face of the Lord of the Blood Sea suddenly became serious. It felt that it had encountered an unprecedentedly powerful enemy. The power of the opponent's spells was beyond its imagination. It could not even compete with the power of its own blood sea. This was a strong man. In the Origin continent, do you need a reason to deal with someone? Furukawa raised his eyebrows. Haha, there is indeed no need for a reason, but it is definitely not a good thing for you to offend me, the Lord of the Blood Sea. You have no idea what a terrifying enemy you have offended. The Lord of the Blood Sea roared angrily. The doomsday spell, Blood Sea Evil Ghost.
Boom tilde.
In an instant, the entire Blood Sea boiled, as if every drop of liquid condensed into an evil ghost, and they were all blood red, exuding extremely terrifying ghostly, evil, and dead auras. These are the lives that the Sea of Blood once killed. After the death of these lives, they all turned into evil ghosts in the Sea of Blood, and their true spirits were eternally enslaved by the Sea of Blood. At the same time, their bodies are assimilated by the Blood Sea, and they have the ability to be immortal. The Blood Sea is immortal, and the evil ghosts are immortal. And this is the strongest combat power of the Blood Sea. The appearance of billions of immortal evil ghosts is simply just invincible. Seeing the scene, Bailey Ing and others' pupils shrank and their hair stood up. They felt that the entire Sea of Blood seemed to be alive, and every drop of liquid turned into a terrifying Blood Sea demon, as if it was the most terrifying monster in the world. One of the most terrifying creatures. The most common Blood Sea evil ghost among them can easily wipe out the entire Bailey tribe. Once overwhelmed by these endless evil ghosts, there will definitely be no bones left.
Crash.
In an instant, the endless sea of blood demons held steel forks and roared, seemingly forming terrifying battle formations and attacking Furukawa. They are simply fearless of death, like an ambush from all sides, surging in, swallowing everything. The waves are rolling. Stars. Furukawa flicked his finger and activated the Book of Stars. Immediately, billions of stars fell from the sky. Each one was as big as the world. They were crushed down and rotated continuously, creating earth-shattering pressure. It seemed so gently with one collision, countless worlds were turned into powder. Boom, boom, boom. The next second, billions of stars fell down at the same time, hitting the sea of blood, the earth, and the endless blood. Terrifying shockwaves were generated on the body of the sea devil, destroying everything. The bodies of many blood sea devils were instantly shattered into powder by such power, and seemed to be completely cleared. I don't know how many people died at this moment. Evil ghost. It's useless. My blood sea demons are immortal. No matter how many times you kill them, they can be resurrected.
Yusti.
The Lord of the Blood Sea smiled ferociously and waved his hand.
Crash.
The originally dead blood sea evil ghosts seemed to be resurrected at this moment, and dense blood-colored evil ghosts appeared on the ground, as if the blow just now could not harm him at all. They were unscathed. In an instant, the endless bloody evil ghosts still surged in, like a tide, seeming to want to surround Furukawa and completely suppress this place. So that's it, relying on your immortality to act like this? Unfortunately, what I am best at dealing with are immortal creatures like you. Furukawa raised his eyebrows. With a wave of his hand, he immediately took out a magic weapon, the original ancient snake talisman. You must know that the original ancient snake talisman at this moment is no longer comparable to the original. With the birth of countless lives, more and more believers believe in the primitive ancient snake, and the strength of the believers is getting stronger and stronger. It is conceivable that the power of faith is boundless, almost overflowing. And the power of the ancient snake talisman is becoming more and more terrifying. Now it is no longer just a chaos treasure, but has transformed into a cosmic secret treasure. Deep inside the original ancient snake talisman, it was suddenly transformed into the initial universe, and it is a black and white universe is like heaven and hell, like the underworld and the underworld. Heaven is inhabited by countless fanatical believers and saints. They are immortal, like the Holy Spirit, all the time. Every moment exudes powerful power of faith and is filled with holy light. Hell is inhabited by endless demons and monsters. They are all transformed by the distracting thoughts of believers and contain extremely terrifying power of corrosion and erosion. The hell flows the demonic thoughts. The two together are a complete universe of primitive ancient snakes. Its weight is immense, just like the superposition of the beliefs of countless living beings. Therefore, as soon as this primitive ancient snake talisman appears, it immediately from the chaotic void, I heard the buzzing sound of countless beings reciting scriptures. It seemed that when I heard such a sound, I would be saved in an instant and take refuge in the primitive ancient snake. When Bailey Ing and others heard such a voice, they were suddenly deprived of their consciousness, as if their souls were engraved into the brand, and they prostrated on the ground with great piety. The World Tree Girl and the Star Tree Girl had already, as expected, they had fled early. To be honest, after being suppressed by the primitive ancient snake talisman for such a long time, the World Tree Girl had long hated this thing and knew it well. It was impossible not to know how terrifying this primitive ancient snake was. That guy is screwed. The World Tree Girl looked at the Lord of the Blood Sea in the distance with a look of gloating. To be honest, no one knew the power and terror of the original ancient snake talisman better than her. Such power was simply boundless. Even the Lord of the Blood Sea, I'm afraid it's difficult to resist the power of the original ancient snake talisman.
What?
Damn it, is this a secret treasure from the universe? This bastard actually has a magic weapon of this level on him. The face of the Lord of the Blood Sea changed drastically. It felt extremely horrified. From this talisman, it felt great crisis and pressure, and even sense the crisis of its own death. It seemed that at this moment, all the cells in its body were giving warnings. Let yourself escape quickly. This bastard is more powerful than himself, and now he has a powerful cosmic secret treasure to defend himself. How can he fight in this case? To be honest, the cosmic secret treasure is too precious. Not every universe treasure. Most of the masters have magic weapons of the cosmic secret treasure level, but most of them just have the chaos supreme treasure to protect their bodies. Escape, must escape. The Lord of the Blood Sea's hair stood up. It felt that it could not continue to fight. Even if it had to abandon the foundation of the Blood God Kingdom, it could not stay here. Otherwise, it would fall here today. In an instant, it wanted to fight towards escape into the distance and quickly leave this extremely dangerous place. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 463. Unfortunately, it is too late for the Lord of the Blood Sea to escape now. In an instant, the primitive ancient snake talisman was thrown by Furukawa and hit the Lord of the Blood Sea.
Boom tilde tilde.
Suddenly, the original ancient snake talisman rose in the wind and instantly stuck to the Lord of the Blood Sea. The terrifying power of the talisman erupted from the depths of the original ancient snake talisman, projecting heaven and hell. It was black and white, exuding incomparable mysterious power. This power seems to represent life and death, yin and yang, light and darkness, justice and evil, order and chaos, and contains the endless laws of heaven and earth. And in this way, heaven and hell united and rolled over at the same time, dividing this area, and instantly suppressed the chaotic space-time with a radius of hundreds of millions of light years. Vaguely, the black and white universe seemed to turn into a primitive ancient snake. The snake's body stretched across the sky and penetrated the long river of time and space, exuding an incomparable aura. It seems that this primitive ancient snake represents the past and the future, controls the river of destiny, and is the master of everything. Just the moment it appeared, the surrounding time and space froze, and the body of the Lord of the Blood Sea was suppressed, unable to move at all. The Lord of the Blood Sea's eyes widened. He simply couldn't believe that he was the elementary lord of the universe who had mastered the power of 99 reincarnations and possessed vast origin energy. However, when this strange talisman was crushed down, it was instantly destroyed. After suppressing himself, Nuada was unable to move even a step in a sea of blood. Every corner of his body was under great pressure. It had never felt such a huge force in its life. It was simply unable to move, as if it could not even move its own body. The soul was greatly oppressed at this moment. What kind of magic weapon is this? What is it? The Lord of the Blood Sea looked at the primitive ancient snake in the sky and was immediately horrified. It seemed that at this moment he understood the deepest mystery of the primitive ancient snake talisman. It would instantly discover every cell of this primitive ancient snake. They are all saints. To be honest, no one knows how many saints live in the body of this primitive ancient snake. I am afraid that the number exceeds billions, which is an unimaginable number. I only saw these saints one by one. All of them were prostrate on the ground, with their hands clasped together, extremely pious, constantly reciting scriptures, and the endless power of faith burst out. Even if the power of faith of one saint is very weak, but the power of faith of billions of saints is added up, the power of faith like that is simply beyond imagination. Buzz buzz. The scriptures recited by these saints seemed to form a series of supreme Taoist sutras, showing a golden color, pouring from the sky, as if it turned into a supreme sealing method. A series of Taoist sutras enveloped time and space in all directions, causing the surrounding time and space to stop. At the same time, the voices of these saints were like the sounds of chaos, possessing unimaginable magic power and permeating the air. Time and space directly entered the depths of the soul of the Lord of the Blood Sea. Hateful, shameless villain, you actually want to save me, the Lord of the Blood Sea. You are just dreaming. The Lord of the Blood Sea roared, and its hair stood up, feeling a great crisis, because these voices of faith were extremely terrifying and had the power to hypnotize and convert. Billions of believers chanted sutras at the same time, transmitting huge holy light. It is as if he wants to completely transform the Lord of the Blood Sea, evolve all the distracting thoughts in his body, and engrave his soul with the imprint of the primitive ancient snake. Once successful, the Lord of the Blood Sea will be a loyal believer of the primitive ancient snake and will never be able to do so again. He will not betray and become the most devout saint. Therefore, the Lord of the Blood Sea also knows such a huge crisis. If his soul is lost, then it will become the slave of the other party and will no longer have self-awareness and become a puppet.
Wow.
Under the urging of the Lord of the Blood Sea, the boundless sea of blood surged crazily, and it seemed that every drop of liquid roared, like the roar of billions of resentful spirits. After all, the Lord of the Blood Sea is the Lord of the universe. Even if he is a junior, the Lord of the universe is also extremely powerful. It represents a universe and a powerful civilization. In other words, if you want to save the Lord of the Blood Sea, you want to save the entire universe and the entire civilization. How difficult this is. So amazing. When the World Tree Girl and the Star Tree Girl saw this scene, their eyes widened and they were extremely shocked. Of course, they also knew what Furukawa was doing and actually wanted to forcibly save the Lord of the Blood Sea. At this moment, they also knew that the Lord of the Universe was what a big shot. They are big shots who stand at the top of the origin continent. Each of them is the lord of a kingdom and an immortal god. It is extremely difficult to kill such a being, but now Furukawa actually wants to forcibly convert him. It is unbelievable. If this matter spreads, it will definitely shake the entire origin continent and shock countless masters of the universe. Of course, it is more likely that Furukawa will become the target of public criticism. Resist? Furukawa raised his eyebrows. He naturally knew that it would be extremely difficult to save the Lord of the Blood Sea, and the other party would inevitably resist, but it was not impossible. After all, he was the supreme power of the chaotic universe. Moreover, the number of lives born in the chaotic universe is definitely not comparable to the life in other universes. It can be said that the sole power of life in the chaotic universe and the power of faith generated are far beyond the imagination of the masters of other universes outside. And as time goes by, this power will only continue to increase, even at a geometric rate. Because saints will not die, their number will only increase. In billions, thousands of believers continue to chant sutras, and the power of faith is constantly superimposed. This kind of power is constantly evolving. No matter how powerful the Lord of the Blood Sea is, he cannot resist it for too long. Sooner or later, the Lord of the Blood Sea will be transformed into his own believer. But he doesn't want to wait for such a long time. Since it still resists, then directly remove its resistance. Furukawa's eyes flashed. Thinking of this, he forced out a drop of black liquid from himself, which was the original venom from the deepest part of his body. This original venom was more poisonous than any venom in the world, and contained it is an extremely terrifying poison. At this moment, the Lord of the Blood Sea's face immediately became solemn and said, "These should be the remaining souls of the 5 high-level universe lords who died in this origin dragon vein." Although they were dead, their souls did not dissipate immediately after death. The remaining part merged with the evil spirit between heaven and earth and became the Doomsday Spirit, possessing extremely terrifying doomsday power. I had actually sensed their existence before, but the river water did not interfere with the well water, so I did not disturb them. But now that the owner wants to dig up their roots, I am afraid it will make them crazy. Doomsday Spirit. Furukawa's eyes showed a cold light, and he immediately remembered the Doomsday Spirit he had encountered before, but it was the Doomsday Spirit on the Eater, and it also had terrible destructive power. Like a warrior of Doomsday. After so many things, he actually already knows the origin of these Doomsday Spirits. These doomsday spirits are actually the remaining resentments of countless lives after the destruction of the universe. When these resentments are condensed together, they become turned into an evil spirit that destroyed everything in the world. And the Lord of the Universe, who is called the Nar, subdued the doomsday spirits and let them serve as cannon fodder to destroy one universe after another. In fact, the Lord of the higher universe has since to a certain extent, they are a universe, and their fall is equivalent to the fall of a universe, so the amount of resentment and evil spirit generated can be imagined. Every place where the Lord of the Universe falls will actually turn into a forbidden place for life. The infinite evil spirit is enough to kill every weak life that breaks into the restricted area. Now, the doomsday spirits formed after the death of these 5 high-level universe masters are obviously many times more powerful than the doomsday spirits Furukawa encountered before. The 5 black light spots are like 5 universes, condensed by billions of evil spirits. Once they attack a living being, they can completely tear the enemy's soul into pieces in an instant. Stupid guy, how dare you disturb my peaceful sleep? If you still want to purify the resentment and evil spirit here, you are asking for death. Die to me immediately, fall into this place, and embrace death with us. The doomsday spirits roared one after another, like billions of evil spirits roaring, crushing down with terrifying pressure. Such a sound was enough to shatter the souls of countless lives. Even the surrounding space was distorted by the power of the doomsday spirits. It seemed to have turned into twisted, curved surfaces. This power also blocked time and space in all directions, making it impossible for people to escape. The power of this doomsday spirit is enough to compete with a medium-sized Lord of the Universe. It is no wonder that the Lord of the Blood Sea I have never dared to provoke these 5 doomsday spirits. It can be said that Furukawa has simply stirred up a hornet's nest now. Town. Furukawa looked at these 5 doomsday spirits calmly, without dodge or fear. He immediately took out a magic weapon from his body, the Xianxia exquisite Tower of Merit. This was condensed from Furukawa's endless merits. The magic weapon is extremely powerful. To this day, in terms of level, I am afraid that this pagoda has reached the level of the secret treasure of the universe, surpassing the level of the treasure of chaos. And this pagoda contains the light of immeasurable merit, enough to suppress all life. All evil spirits and all monsters have reached the supreme state of invulnerability. Since he got this pagoda, he has never used it again. After all, there are not many enemies worthy of him using this meritorious black and yellow exquisite pagoda. Tower. However, this magic weapon is an excellent means to suppress these 5 doomsday spirits. Rumble. At the moment when the black and yellow exquisite Tower of Merit appeared, a golden pagoda shot out of the sky, straight into the sky, and from it emits immeasurable light of merit and virtue, seemingly forming a boundless golden ocean. This light of merit and virtue is enough to suppress all evil spirits and resist the power of doom. Of course, the most important thing is the black and yellow aura permeating the pagoda. The airflow is so mysterious and so heavy that even the apocalypse can easily suppress it. What? What is this thing, and why can't we move now? No, there is something weird about this pagoda. Is its power restraining us? Run away quickly. We can't face this kid head-on. The hairs of the 5 doomsday spirits stood up, feeling a great crisis. They felt that the moment the Xianxia exquisite Tower of Merit appeared, the endless light of merit and Xianxia Qi formed an absolute realm. Especially the Xianxia Qi filled the surrounding chaotic time and space, crushed it, and instantly put the 5 doomsday inspirations under tremendous pressure. It was as if they were carrying countless worlds on their backs, and a wisp of black and yellow breath was equivalent to one world. I felt the awe-inspiring gravity. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 468. To be honest, if it were just gravity, these 5 doomsday spirits would still have a way to escape. But the most important thing is those immeasurable lights of merit. These lights of merit can easily eliminate the endless evil energy on their bodies and eliminate the countless spells that erupt from their bodies. These two forces were exerted at the same time, and they were suppressed easily, making it impossible for them to make any counterattack or exert any power. When the Lord of the Blood Sea saw this scene, he couldn't help but widen his eyes and his whole body was trembling. If Furukawa had used this black and yellow exquisite tower of merit before, he might have been able to suppress its blood sea true body in an instant, even with a drop of liquid. It can't be moved either. It can be said that this pagoda can easily suppress many evil things, and is the nemesis of countless evil things in the world. Hateful. The 5 doomsday spirits roared, and waves of terrifying doomsday fluctuations erupted from them, causing ripples of void to appear around them, trying to break free from this place. But it was of no use. Billions of rays of black and yellow the energy was suppressed, making the void impenetrable and suppressing the 5 doomsday spirits. At the same time, immeasurable light of merit surged, annihilating every spell on these doomsday spirits.
Boom.
The next second, Furukawa waved lightly, and the black and yellow exquisite tower of merit suddenly crushed down, instantly covering the 5 doomsday spirits, and then completely swallowed them into the world inside the tower.
Wow.
I saw these 5 doomsday spirits being suppressed at the bottom of the giant tower. They were bound by chains of merit, and they were imprisoned in this place instantly, making them unable to move. At the same time, the light of merit fills the surroundings, slowly wiping out the endless resentment on the 5 doomsday spirits. The 5 doomsday spirits also let out shrill screams. For them, these lights of merit are simply poisonous gas. If they touch their bodies, they will be cut into pieces by 1,000 cuts. The problem is that they can no longer escape from the Gongda Xianhuang exquisite tower and are permanently suppressed. Can even the spirit of doom be suppressed? Furukawa smiled slightly. To be honest, he had underestimated the Xianhuang exquisite tower of merit before. This cosmic secret treasure condensed from the infinite merits of the chaotic universe, its power can be imagined. It may even be able to suppress the real apocalypse. As for other evil objects, they are even less worth mentioning. Now, once you take action, it is just a small test. At this moment, Furukawa's heart moved. He immediately discovered that after suppressing and sealing the 5 doomsday spirits, the endless resentment of this origin dragon vein collapsed instantly, and all the negative energy was swallowed up by the original ancient snake talisman. At this moment, the origin dragon vein also returned to its original pure state, just like the polluted Yangtze River, which finally returned to its crystal clear state.
Boom.
Immediately, with the blood god kingdom as the center, a radius of hundreds of millions in the area of light years, the infinite origin energy also underwent earth-shaking changes, and a dragon roar appeared in the depths of the void. It seemed that the origin dragon vein came to life and let out an earth-shattering roar, like the sound of chaos. In Furukawa's perception underneath, this giant dragon of origin seems to be condensed from the law of origin, but it is the projection of the law. There are dense mysterious runes around the body, which are unfathomable. At the same time, the area with a radius of hundreds of millions of light years has also undergone tremendous changes. Originally, this place was desolate, bare everywhere, filled with the meaning of death, like a land of hell, where only evil creatures could survive. But at this time, the healthy origin dragon vein seemed to have swallowed up the endless origin. The energy came in, making the energy in this area more than dozens of times richer. Weeds broke out from the earth, forming vast expanse of grassland around them. Strange and beautiful flowers were also blooming, all over the mountains and plains, exuding bursts of fragrance all around. The trees also suddenly rose up and turned into towering trees, covering the mountains one after another, lush and green. At the same time, in the valleys, under the trees, deep in the caves, and around the streams it seems that strange elixirs have also been bred, and endless vitality is permeating the surroundings. A large number of animals seem to sense this breath, and they are all gathering towards this area. And the Blood God Kingdom, the core of the origin of dragon veins, the changes that have taken place in the place are naturally more obvious. The extremely huge energy is gathered here, turning this place into a supreme holy land for cultivation. But what shocked Furukawa even more was that a huge portal seemed to appear in the sky at this moment, engraved with dense runes of origin, which seemed to contain the secrets of endless laws in the world. Just seeing this portal, he seemed to see the power of the deepest laws of the entire chaos. I am incomparably insignificant in front of this portal. Is this the gate of origin? The Lord of the Blood Sea couldn't help shouting. It seemed to be the first time it saw this portal. It was extremely shocked. What happened? Furukawa couldn't help but ask. I don't know. It is said that the Gate of Origin is a symbol of the law of the origin continent and generally does not appear unless you have made great merits or become the Lord of the Universe and is recognized by the law of origin. The Gate of Origin will appear. Speaking of this, the Lord of the Blood Sea seemed to remember something and immediately shouted, "By the way, Master, you have purified the countless grievances of this origin dragon vein and solved the 5 doomsday spirits. This is equivalent to the origin continent. You have made great contributions, so origin continent recognizes your achievements and will grant you merit." It had a look of envy on its face. Origin of merit? Furukawa was surprised. To be honest, there are countless universe masters in the origin continent, but there are very few who can obtain merit. It is so incredible that he can obtain it now. In fact, purifying the pollution of the origin dragon vein will be of great benefit to the origin continent, but the origin continent itself cannot eliminate such pollution. So if there is a master of the universe who can evolve such pollution, then the origin continent will naturally be rewarded. The Lord of the Blood Sea explained. It means that if the origin continent is compared to a great life, then the dragon veins are the meridians of this great life. If there is a problem with the meridians, it will naturally threaten it. But with the origin continent itself, cannot clear the pollution in its own body, so it needs the help of the Lord of the Universe to restore the health of the dragon veins in the origin continent. Therefore, if the Lord of the Universe can purify the pollution on the dragon veins, he will definitely gain the merits of the origin continent. Reward. So it is natural for Furukawa to receive a lot of merit. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 469. If this is the case, why don't other masters of the universe come to purify this dragon vein?
Furukawa asked.
If purifying dragon veins is merit, other universe masters should follow suit, and it won't be his turn. The reason is actually very simple. In fact, not every master of the universe has the ability to purify dragon veins like the master. The Lord of the Blood Sea said in a deep voice. It means that not every Lord of the universe has the ability to purify dragon vein pollution like this. In fact, most Lords of the universe do not have such an ability. If these Lords of the universe are if you come here rashly, you may not have purified the pollution of this dragon vein, but you will be polluted, resulting in irreparable injuries. Especially the infinite evil spirit and negative energy deep inside the dragon vein will be really harmful to the Lord of the Universe. It's too big. Moreover, this dragon vein is a pollution formed after the death of the higher master of the universe. I am afraid that even if the higher master of the universe comes, it may not be able to solve it. So over time, no master of the universe dares to come here. Solve the pollution of the dragon veins of the Blood God Kingdom. Of course, if the title master of the universe takes action, it may be able to solve it. The Lord of the Sea of Blood said. However, even the lords of the universe with such abilities probably don't value the power of merit. They have more important things to do, so there are still very few lords of the universe who can obtain merit. Of course, even so, there are still many enthusiastic universe masters going around to evolve those contaminated dragon veins. The problem is that the origin continent is too big. Even if these masters of the universe have gone through countless epochs, they have only explored part of the origin continent, and there is still a large part of the area that they have not had time to explore. I see. Furukawa nodded. He immediately understood what the Lord of the Blood Sea meant. First of all, there are very few lords of the universe who can purify the origin dragon veins. Very few. Secondly, the laws of the origin continent are firm. Even the Lord of the Universe cannot unable to travel through the void. We can only fly honestly. The problem is how large the area of this continent is. No matter how fast the Lord of the Universe flies, I am afraid that he will not be able to explore part of the area in billions of epochs.
So,
For one thing, even if those enthusiastic lords of the universe wanted to purify the dragon veins of the entire origin continent, it would probably be impossible because it would require a lot of effort and time. But the time of the lords of the universe is so precious. Even if they live longer, Yuanwu will not do such things as searching for a needle in a haystack and wasting time, so they will only do things within reach. As for those areas beyond their perception, they are powerless. And in the origin continent, the universe, there are too many battles between the Lord of the Universe and the Lord of the Universe. They will appear every once in a while, and there are many contaminated dragon veins. So they can't control so many such things.
boom.
At this time, the door of origin suddenly opened, and an extremely large amount of light of merit and virtue flowed from it, as well as the endless power of the law of origin. These golden lights of merit and virtue seemed to be free of charge, surging out and pouring towards Furukawa's head.
Come down.
The area of billions of light years is bathed in this endless golden light, as if it has turned into a golden ocean. Faintly, bursts of origin sounds sounded from the depths of the gate of origin, like countless lives chanting, reciting the scriptures, produced incredible power of law. At this moment, the light of these origin merits sank into Furukawa's body in an instant, poured into the depths of a sea of consciousness, and integrated into every cell in his body. Furukawa's eyes widened. He suddenly felt a huge amount of origin energy pouring into his body. Every cell in his body was filled with the light of merit. And the light of merit contained in the origin continent contained the energy is much greater than the energy contained in the merits of the chaotic universe. Even a ray of light of such merits is more than billions of times greater. It is like a red envelope given by a poor man and a red envelope given by the world's richest man. The red envelope is the same. The two cannot be the same. In a place like the origin continent that contains infinite universe, even some energy leaking from the fingertips is enough to burst the body of the ordinary Lord of the Universe. And now he can be purified. It is not an ordinary origin dragon vein, but a high-level origin dragon vein, so the merits obtained far exceed the imagination of other universe masters. This origin energy is too huge. Furukawa was amazed. He found that the original energy in his body was increasing at a geometric rate, which simply surpassed the time he had spent hundreds of millions of years practicing hard. The power of reincarnation in his body was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The power of 1,000 reincarnations, the power of 1,200 reincarnations, the power of 1,500 reincarnations, the power of 2,000 reincarnations. To be honest, if it was just Furukawa's hard work, I am afraid that if he wanted to obtain these origin energies, he would have to do it. I don't know how many cosmic reincarnations it will take. But now these lights of merit from the continent have saved him countless epochs of time. At the same time, these lights of merit have also penetrated every corner of his body, like a marrow-cleansing blow. The meridians generally tempered his body, making the blood in his body further purified. And at this time, the chaotic universe in him also obtained these original energies, and the entire chaotic universe also evolved. The original energy inside the universe was enhanced. It seems that at this moment, the original energy of the chaotic universe has increased by 1/3, its internal space has also expanded crazily, and all the original laws have become stronger. And the life forms of the chaotic universe also seem to have something special. I feel that the spiritual energy between heaven and earth is much richer, and the efficiency of cultivation is much faster. It can be said that if Furukawa is making progress, then the chaotic universe is also making progress, and the lives living in the chaotic universe will also make progress. Get a lot of benefits. These three parties actually complement each other. The benefits are simply too great. Furukawa was extremely excited. He discovered that the light of merit not only fell on himself, but also part of it fell on the Xianhuang exquisite tower of merit. This was because it imprisoned 5 doomsday spirits, and it was also used to purify the dragon veins. Therefore, the entire Xianhuang exquisite pagoda of merit and virtue shines brightly, and the huge light of merit and virtue pours in, which also makes this pagoda tempered by the light of merit and virtue of the origin continent. Indistinctly, the endless origin the runes have been integrated into this pagoda, which seems to have caused earth-shaking changes and become more powerful. If this pagoda was just the first to enter the level of the secret treasure of the universe, now it can be regarded as a medium universe secret treasure level. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 470. Owner. At this time, the Lord of the Blood Sea said, "The movement here is really too big. If other universe masters discover the situation here, I am afraid it will cause a lot of trouble." Indeed. Hearing this, Furukawa came back to his senses and couldn't help but nodded. He understood what the Lord of the Blood Sea meant. Originally, this high-level dragon vein of origin was contaminated. The other lords of the universe regarded this place as a ruin and couldn't see it at all. That's why the Lord of the Blood Sea took advantage of him. But now this dragon vein has been purified by himself, and all the pollution has been removed, turning this place into a paradise for advanced cultivation. Once this kind of place is used by if the Lord of the Universe finds out, especially the higher Lord of the Universe, he may come and snatch it away. After all, who doesn't want to own a high-level cave cultivation paradise? Fortunately, this place is very remote. It used to be the territory of the Blood God Kingdom, with a radius of hundreds of millions. Light years away is a place rarely visited by humans, and after countless years of killing, not many people dare to approach a dangerous place like the Blood God Kingdom. Otherwise, such a huge movement will definitely be discovered by other masters of the universe. By then, I am afraid there will be other universe masters coming to seize the territory here. It seems that it is indeed necessary to suppress the dragon vein here, to prevent the dragon vein aura here from leaking out. Furukawa's eyes flashed. In fact, other kingdoms did the same thing. They arranged a super formation to lock their own dragon veins and hide them invisible so that the power of the dragon veins could not leak out, but instead gathered in a center. Over time, this dragon vein center, it will become a real cave, heaven paradise.
Boom.
At this moment, Furukawa took action. With a wave of his hand, he immediately threw out the black and yellow exquisite tower of merit in his hand and placed it in the core of the dragon vein. Suddenly, merit the Xianhuang exquisite tower immediately surged, soared into the sky, and turned into a majestic mountain, reaching straight into the sky. It directly suppressed the entire origin dragon vein.
Roar.
The origin dragon vein seemed to sense this suppressive force, and out of instinct, he let out a roar and tried to struggle. However, the black and yellow exquisite tower of merit shook slightly, and a huge black and yellow aura filled the air, penetrating the entire dragon vein, and densely packed merit runes appeared at the same time. With such a shock, the entire origin dragon vein could no longer move, can only be suppressed obediently on the earth. At the same time, this origin dragon vein seems to have turned into a boundless giant dragon, entangled around the black and yellow exquisite tower of merit, as if this pagoda has an extra giant dragon totem, exuding an incomparable the breath. Even the huge origin energy is constantly scouring the pagoda, tempering its body, making it slowly evolve.
Crash.
The Gongda Xianhuang Linglong Tower also vibrated, exuding an extremely huge Xianhuang from it. The breath and the dense light of merit spread in all directions. At the same time, the entire origin dragon vein seemed to be integrated into these black and yellow auras, and the light of merit, which also caused this dragon vein to undergo earth-shaking changes, as if it had turned into a yellow dragon. The body is covered with dense merit runes. It seems that the dragon vein is also undergoing transformation and evolving slowly. Under the suppression of the Xianxia exquisite tower of merit, the entire origin dragon vein has disappeared, hidden on the earth, never to be seen again. It does not appear in the void like before. And doing so is actually of great benefit to the origin dragon vein and the Gongda Xianxia exquisite pagoda. They can complement each other and promote each other. There is still a mountain protection formation left. Furukawa touched his chin. Although the black and yellow exquisite tower of merit suppressed the origin dragon vein, preventing the aura of this dragon vein from leaking out, if other universe masters passed by, they might still find out what was going on here. Once they do, the situation here will be exposed, and it may cause big trouble. So he also needs to set up a super formation to block time and space in all directions, so that even the Lord of the Universe can't come in to investigate. In fact, a mountain guard was set up here before formation Bloodsea formation, but this formation had been completely destroyed by him a long time ago and can no longer be used. Of course, this formation is still very weak in his opinion. Even if it is not destroyed, he will not may have used. By the way, a 9-bend yellow river array is just in place. Furukawa's eyes showed a glimmer of light. You must know that the Juku Yellow River Formation is a famous and supreme formation in later generations, which is comparable to the Zhou-Eon Star Formation. In the Age of the Gods, the three immortals arranged the Juku Formation with a Hunyuan Golden Do, the Yellow River Formation. This great battle defeated Taoist Luya and Taoist Randeng, and will teach the 12 golden immortals of the original Tianzuan of Yushu Palace, Qi Jingjing, Guangchengzi, Manjusri Guangfa Tianzuan, Samantapadra, and Sihong Taoist, Master Tai, Master Qingshu Daod, Daoxing Tianzuan, Master Yuding, Master Lingbao, Fear Lu Sun, Master Huanglong, all captured. This formation is so powerful that it can destroy the gods of immortals and eliminate the gods of immortals. Soul, trapping the shape of the immortal, damaging the spirit of the immortal, losing the origin of the immortal, donating the limbs of the immortal, cutting off the 3 flowers on the top, eliminating the 5 qi in the chest. After thousands of years of Taoism, it became a cake in one day. Later, the leader of the Chan cult, Yuanshi Tianzuan and Taisheng Laojun assisted King Wu of Zhou in the battle. With the help of the saint's body, they worked together to break through the 9-bend Yellow River Formation and defeated Yunxiao, Bixiao, and Xianxia. There was once a poem to describe this formation. The evil formation of the Yellow River according to the 3 talents, all the gods will suffer disaster in this calamity. Good fortune is hidden in the Jiujiu Song, and wind and thunder are hidden in the Sansan Bay. It is rumored that the true guest of Lingyuan will have a holy pregnancy at the Lingtai. When the head teacher is reborn, he knows that the left way cannot be matched. It can be imagined that the tyranny of the 9-bending Yellow River Formation is absolutely unprecedented. The reason why the 9-bending Yellow River Formation is so tyrannical is the innate evil aura in the formation. This aura is extremely powerful and is unparalleled in history. The most cold and vicious air at the birth of the world contains incomparable mysteries. It can destroy the spirit of immortals, eliminate the soul of immortals, trap the form of immortals, and damage the energy of immortals. Of course, the 9-meander Yellow River Formation that Furukawa wants to arrange at this moment is not just that. Although the principles are the same, he intends to use the Xianxia Qi as the foundation of the formation, with the Xianxia exquisite tower of merit as the core and the original ancient snake talisman as an auxiliary. Therefore, this formation is compared to the Juku in later generations. The Yellow River Formation is billions of times more powerful, and even the Lord of the Universe cannot break through this supreme formation. As for the saints who want to enter this 9-bending Yellow River Formation, I am afraid they will have to be quickly refined and turned into ashes. Also because in this way, once the formation is successfully deployed, no one can enter this area and all trespassing creatures will be wiped out. Fortunately, There are a lot of materials in the Blood God Kingdom's treasury, which are just suitable for setting up such a mountain-protecting formation. Furukawa made up his mind and planned to refine this place into his own cave, heaven paradise, and regard it as his foundation in the origin continent. So he must spend a lot of money. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 471. Thinking of this, Furukawa did not hesitate and took action immediately. After all, the longer it takes, the greater the possibility that the dragon veins here will be discovered by other masters of the universe. Therefore, he still wanted to set up the Juku Yellow River Formation as soon as possible.
Wow.
Immediately under Furukawa's arrangement, countless materials melted instantly, and with the dragon veins as nodes, formation foundations were laid out one by one in an area of hundreds of millions of light years. In fact, he has long been familiar with arranging similar formations. In order to protect the heavens and the world, he had arranged the Chaos Star's circular formation. Such a formation could frighten the gods and prevent the doomsday. And now that countless epochs have passed, his cultivation and knowledge have also been greatly improved. His formation realm has long reached the transformation realm, so he is extremely familiar with such formation methods. Time is like running water. In the blink of an eye, thousands of years pass by. At this moment, the Juku Yellow River Formation was finally completed by Furukawa. I saw that with the Valley of the Blood God Kingdom as the center, a radius of hundreds of millions of light years was covered by a large formation, and all the dragon veins were hidden in the void and never showed up again. And deep in the core of the formation is a giant tower, towering into the sky, emitting endless golden light, seeming to penetrate the boundless darkness, turning the surroundings into a golden ocean. This is the Xianxia Exquisite Tower of Merit, which is the core of this formation. But in addition, there is another core, which is the original ancient snake talisman. It is also in another place in the formation, surrounded by a powerful aura. From deep within the primitive ancient snake talisman, two terrifying powers are also instilled. One is the power of transformation, which can transform countless creatures and make them convert to the primitive ancient snake. One is the power of depravity. This power can make countless creatures degenerate into hellish creatures, lose their minds, and even dissolve their bodies and souls. It is extremely terrifying. As expected of the Master, this formation is really terrifying. When the Lord of the Blood Sea saw this scene, even if he was the primary universe lord who had mastered the power of 99 reincarnations and had lived for countless years, he had never seen such a terrifying formation. Such a formation has never been seen in the entire origin. It can definitely be ranked among the mainland. He has no idea where this formation starts and where it ends. It seems to form an absolute closed loop, and it is like a perfect circle without any flaws. This grand formation contains the secret of chaos, the mechanism of life and death. Outside it is the 9 palaces and bagua, which allows entry and exit of portals, continuous advancement and retreat, and is in an orderly manner. Even if the Master of the Universe enters this place, he will be dismayed. Oh, can you tell the secret of this formation? Furukawa asked. Fortunately, I assisted the Master in setting up this formation. Otherwise, once the formation is completed, I will not be able to know the secret of this formation, and I can only look at the flowers in the fog. The Lord of the Sea of Blood said with emotion, "If I'm not wrong, there are 3 talents in this array, which contain the wonders of heaven and earth. Among them are the confusing Immortal Pill and the Immortal Closing Technique, which can lose the spirit of the Immortal, eliminate the soul of the Immortal, and trap the Immortal. Shape, damage to the spirit of the Immortals, loss of the original nature of the Immortals, damage to the limbs of the Immortals. Immortals enter here and become mortals, and mortals enter here and become extinct. There is no straightness among the 9 tunes. The tunes reveal the wonders of nature and reveal the secrets of the gods. No matter how saintly he is, he will not be able to escape from this. Indeed, As the Lord of the Blood Sea said, the nine-bend yellow river has the power to seize the creation of heaven and earth. First of all, the entire formation has 9 and 18 bends, just like countless yellow rivers running through this void, making the whole formation. The interior of the formation has turned into a maze, and other beings who enter will definitely get lost and no longer know where they are. Moreover, if they stay inside the formation for a long time, they will be suppressed by the black and yellow energy that permeates the formation, refining and at the same time being eroded by the power of the original ancient snake talisman. It can be said that this formation has 2 formation powers. One is the power of the labyrinth, so that the life entering this formation cannot escape. The other is the power of refining power. The power of corrosion is like a furnace, refining all the enemies who enter this formation into ashes, with no bones left. Even the Lord of the Universe cannot escape death. This is the so-called formation of heaven and earth, with great momentum. Yellow River. The dark wind and rustling air invade people, and the black mist fills the air and confuses the sun and moon. It wanders leisurely and dimly. The miserable air rises into the sky, and the haze penetrates the ground. It destroys the soul and allows you to practice for thousands of years to become a picture cake. It damages the spirit and depresses you. Despite the hardships of escaping thousands of catastrophes, he still made a mistake. As the saying goes, it is difficult for gods to come, so just cut off the 3 flowers on the top. Even if you are afraid of Buddha's misfortune, you will also eliminate the 5 chi in your chest. It is difficult to escape from this disaster. What will the real person do when encountering him? Hide? Master, with this formation, even if you encounter the Lord of the higher universe, you will not be able to do anything to master. The Lord of the Blood Sea was extremely excited. Before, he was worried that if other universe masters discovered this origin dragon vein, they would suffer a catastrophic disaster, but with the protection of this formation, it would be different. Even if it is a high level, when the Lord of the Universe enters the 9-meandering yellow river formation, he will be trapped forever, without the light of the sun and the moon, and may even be refined and destroyed. As for the lords of other intermediate universes, not to mention the lords of the elementary universe, they are completely its scum. Of course, a tyrannical existence like the Lord of the Universe can still destroy this great formation. After all, those existences are too tyrannical and have reached an unimaginable state. But they cannot just do it casually with this kind of existence. He provokes them, and this kind of strong man is also a dragon. He usually doesn't know where to practice, but it is so easy to see him. Indeed, my foundation has been established, and it is time to establish a force. Furukawa nodded. He arranged a large formation and seized the foundation of the Blood God Kingdom in order to use this place as a starting point to start his power in the origin continent. Of course, he now has a large number of subordinates. The first is the Blood Sea Lord and the Blood Tribe he created. All these elites obey his orders. Next are the natives of the Bailey tribe and other 18 tribes. After these natives were saved by him, they all wanted to recognize themselves as masters, actually relying on the kingdom of the blood god, and not leaving. But it is natural to think about it, Xianxia said in a deep voice. In fact, there are too many things like this to create life. Now it is just an experimental failure. I don't know how many times I have experienced this kind of thing. Forget it. If you fail, you will fail. I thought too simply before. Nuwa said in a deep voice. According to my current cultivation level and my understanding of the avenue of life, I want to create the strongest race in all the worlds. If it succeeds, it will be a real fantasy. In fact, there is such a result. I have actually thought of it before. It seems that you are quite self-aware, so I won't give you any more comfort, Ji now said empty-handedly.
What?
Hearing this, Nuwa was so angry that she almost died. She gritted her teeth and stared at Xianxia. I am just being a little humble. You will die if you comfort me. But she now laughed and dismissed it. But why is this so? I just created a failed race, but I actually get merit. Nuwa was so angry that she was half dead, but she didn't care about Xianxia. This guy was just a robot that didn't say nice things. She also expressed her inner doubts at this moment. If the human race is really such a hopeless race, why does the origin of chaos bestow merit? It is not clear, there is insufficient information, and it is impossible to deduce. Xianxia said that he didn't understand either. It had deduced it countless times just now, but no matter how it was deduced, these humans had no hope, because compared with the Chaos Demon God, no amount of beasts could be the opponent of the Chaos Demon God. If there is no way to gain immortality or practice cultivation, then you are just an ant and not worth mentioning at all. This has exceeded the scope of its calculations, and no conclusion can be drawn. Forget it, ignore this kind of thing. With these merits, it's time for me to step into the realm of a saint. Nuwa waved her hands, temporarily giving up on such entanglements. Although her experiment failed this time, she found an opportunity for a breakthrough, which is also a big gain. Once she ends her retreat, she will definitely be promoted to a saint.
Realm.
You must know that this time the Chaos City Lord has accepted 8 disciples, but so far none of them have stepped into the realm of saints. If she can break through, she will be the first disciple to step into the realm of saints. What an honor it is. But what should we do with these failures? Xianxia asked. God has the virtue of good life. Although they are failures created by me, they are still alive after all. After they produce more offspring, send them to various worlds to survive. This will not be in vain for them to come to this world. One time. As for how good they will be in the future, that depends on them. Nuwa said in a deep voice. Although human beings are the work of her own failure, they are still life after all. Even if they are wild beasts, she cannot kill them all casually. It would be better to release them all and let them fend for themselves in the wild. It's the best way to deal with it. Yes, master. Xianxia said in a deep voice, recording Nuwa's order. But the 129,600 humans on the table looked at each other in confusion, not knowing what happened or what their future would be like. Because they're just newborn beings who don't know anything. In the blink of an eye, tens of thousands of years passed. At this moment, Nuwa finally successfully entered the realm of a saint. As soon as she entered, she mastered the 27 laws of the Great Road and reached the realm of a divine general. The news that she had entered the holy realm also spread throughout Chaos City and was known to countless gods, causing shock. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 476. As Nuwa became a saint, after tens of thousands of years of reproduction, the number of humans quickly multiplied from 129,000 to tens of billions. And tens of billions of human beings were also sent to the prehistoric world and other worlds by Nuwa. Of course, the number of these human beings is only a drop in the bucket for many worlds. If they are dropped into these worlds, they will be like a small stone falling into the sea, making no waves at all. Even if other gods knew about the existence of these humans, they only thought they were ordinary beasts. There were so many similar beings in the world that they were not worth mentioning. At this moment, Dao Tianzuan, Yuanshi Tianzuan, and Lingbao Tianzuan also gathered together. Brother, I really didn't expect that the 8th junior sister among us would be the first to become a saint. Yuanshi Tianzuan said with emotion. To be honest, after hearing that Nuwa became a saint, he felt very complicated in his heart, because he believed that his 3 brothers were the most talented among the many senior brothers and sisters, and they were also the eldest brothers, so they should be the first to become saints. But now, Wawa actually became a saint earlier than them. This was really beyond his expectation. No problem. Deidi Xianzhen waved his hand. Practice does not mean the faster, the better, the earlier the better. The most important thing is who can reach the end. It is not a big problem if you're a little late. His mentality is very indifferent. Even if he is the last one to become a saint, it doesn't matter. As long as he finds his own way and keeps walking, that will be enough. I just don't know how the 8th junior sister became a saint. It is said that the 8th junior sister did not use Hongmeng purple qi to become a saint, but had an epiphany and was promoted naturally. Lingbao Tianzuan asked curiously. He was very curious about Nua's method of becoming a saint. Asked the 8th junior sister before. She created a race called the human race, and thus received the merit reward from the origin of chaos, so she became a saint. The moral god said in a deep voice. No way, just creating a race is enough to become a saint. Yuan Shi Tianzuan can't believe it. To be honest, there are countless chaos demon gods who have created races just as quasi-saints, but I haven't seen many chaos demon gods become saints as a result, let alone gain merit. It can only be said that the 8th junior sister has reached the state of quasi-sage perfection long ago, and it was just a short step away from it. The creation of the human race this time opened the door to sainthood for her. Moral God believes that Nua became a saint not only because of the creation of the human race, but because of Nua's accumulation in the past countless years, so she achieved enlightenment this time and achieved a breakthrough in becoming a saint. I am very interested in the human race created by junior sister Nua. It is unheard of to actually receive merit rewards from the origin of chaos. Lingbao Tianzuan is very curious about the birth of the human race. You and I have thought together. In fact, junior sister Nua has released the human race into various worlds and released them all. Dao Tianzuan said. According to junior sister Nua, although the human race is a race she created and has a lot of potential, it has many shortcomings. It is undoubtedly the same as the beasts and cannot learn the language and writing of the chaos demon god. Her failure.
What?
So, what's the point of this? If you can't even learn words and languages, how can you practice? Yuan Shi Tianzuan frowned. Why did junior sister Nua create such a race that cannot be cultivated? No wonder it is a failure. That's why I had to go and see if there might be a chance for me to become a saint among the human race. Moral Heavenly Lord's eyes showed a glimmer of light. Since eldest brother wants to go, we will naturally accompany him to the end. Lingbao Tianzuan cupped his hands and said, It didn't take long for Sanqing to return to the prehistoric world. Since they themselves were creatures of the prehistoric world and disciples of the Lord of Chaos City, they had the authority to enter and exit the prehistoric world freely. They soon found a human tribe in a primeval forest. However, this human tribe was very primitive and was still in a bloodthirsty period and was extremely weak. At this time, once humans encounter other primitive creatures, they will definitely die. It was indeed a failure. Yuan Shi Tianzuan frowned when he saw these humans. The lifespan is short and the IQ is low. Although they are born with Taoism, they are unable to embark on the path of cultivation. They are indeed similar to wild beasts. He saw the details of these humans at a glance. To be honest, compared to the chaos demon god, these humans are incomparable to the low-level monsters born in the prehistoric world. They are completely the lowest level of creatures. No, my second brother is wrong. When Dao Tianzuan saw the scene, his eyes showed a terrifying light, as if he had penetrated the endless mysteries, and the symbols of gossip flowed in the depths of his pupils. It seemed that at this moment, he seemed to have deduced the future countless times. Brother, what do you mean? Are you very optimistic about the development of the human race? Yuan Shi
Tianzuan asked.
Yes, of course I am optimistic about it. The Dao Tianzuan nodded. The human race is a unique race in the world. It is an innate Taoist body when it is born, and it avoids the pain of transformation. How incredible this is. True, they have short lifespans and low IQs, but these are solvable. If these human beings are allowed to evolve to the realm of immortals, open up the sea of consciousness, and increase the capacity of their brains, it may not be impossible for them to enter the path of cultivation. And once they understand the way of cultivation, the speed at which they can comprehend the great ways of heaven and earth will probably be many times faster than other races. He seemed to see the potential of the human race. But the question is here, how can we promote the human race to the realm of immortals? Yuan Shi Tianzuan asked. He felt that it was too difficult. It was very difficult even for a saint to carve out a path of cultivation for the human race. Just like humans want to teach cats and dogs to study various technologies. This is simply a fantasy. It is valuable precisely because it is difficult. Dao Tianzuan clenched his fists and was extremely excited. Before, I have always regarded all things, heaven, earth and nature, as my teacher. The earth follows heaven, heaven follows Tao, and Tao follows nature. I have obtained endless benefits from nature. But I have forgotten one of the most important things. God gives all things to nourish people, and people have no virtue to repay God. If we can attain Tao and become saints, it will be a natural gift from heaven and earth. In this case, we must also give back to heaven and earth. This is the cycle of heaven and earth. Now I finally understand why the Master would give a sermon at the beginning of chaos and the era of ignorance of all things, preach to chaos, and open the era of ignorance of the chaos demon god. Vaguely, he exuded the aura of Great Avenue and seemed to have an epiphany at this moment. So, brother, what do you want to do? Xianxia. Tianzuan and Dao Tianzuan asked curiously, looking at their elder brother Dao Tianzuan. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 477. It's very simple, that's Li Jiao. The eyes of deity Xianxia showed a glimmer of light. I cannot preach in chaos and become the teacher of the demon god like the master, but I can become the teacher of a clan, master the way of education, and become the teacher of the human race. But brother, if you do this, you will be bound to the fate of the human race, and you will be prosperous. Xianxia Tianzuan and Lingbao Tianzuan were immediately shocked. They felt that the risk of their eldest brother doing this was too great. After all, the human race is just an ordinary race. Although it has some potential, compared with all the races in the world, the advantages are not obvious, but rather disadvantages. A lot. And my eldest brother is the disciple of the Lord of Chaos City with a promising future. He actually wants to bind his destiny to the human race. This is simply crazy. No, you have misunderstood. My destiny is not bound to the human race. I just teach the Tao. Moral Heavenly Lord shook his head. If the human race does have potential, and it can rise quickly through the teachings I teach, then part of the human race's luck will naturally belong to me. But if the human race really cannot hold up the wall, then I am just a teacher of the human race. At most, I will lose part of my luck, and will not be injured. He is not such a stupid person. Although he puts his treasure on the human race, he does not put all his wealth on it. Just like Taobao, a famous company in later generations, in addition to Jack Ma, there is also an important person named Cai Chongxin. He gave up an annual salary of $1 million and only took a salary of 500 yuan to join Taobao and became the second in command. At that time, no one knew whether the company could succeed or not, and it might go bankrupt in 3 years. But Cai Chongxin, it's not that he is bankrupt and desperate, because once Taobao fails, according to his academic qualifications and workability, he can find another job with an annual salary of 1 million at any time. Therefore, he has long been in an invincible position. Of course, his vision is also extremely high. Okay, if you dare to make such a decision, you will naturally get rich rewards in the future. In the same way, I also have my own way out when I bet on the human race, and I am not going to lose everything. But brother, even so, there is no need to put your treasure on the human race. There may be other better races to choose from. Xianxia Tianzuan dissuaded. He felt that the mere human race was not worthy of his elder brother's bet. No need. The human race is my fate. This is fate. It is wonderful. Deity Xianxia waved his hand. He has made up his mind. For him, fate is a very important thing, just like fate. Only by following the trend, this is a saint. Only by grasping the general trend and destiny can we be invincible. This. Xianxia Tianzuan and Lingbao Tianzuan looked at each other. They also know the character of their elder brother. Once they make up their minds, no one can stop them. Now that eldest brother has made the decision, we will naturally not stop him. Lingbao Tianzuan said in a deep voice.
Boom tilde.
At this moment, Dao Tianzuan stood up and said directly, "The Great Road is above. I am one of the 3 pure ones in the prehistoric times. I was born in line with the heaven and earth. My name is Dao Tianzuan.
Taikin Laotsi.
If you are lucky enough to receive heaven's grace, you should be responsible for teaching and transforming. Today, I think the human race feels it and wishes to establish a great religion for heaven and earth, called the human religion. I am the leader of the human religion, teaching the world with morality, doing nothing, and having no beginning, and now I use the innate treasure Tai Chi to suppress the destiny of the human race, for eternity and eternity. His golden words, each word was like the sound of chaotic thunder, causing vibrations in the original laws of the prehistoric world. It seemed to spread throughout the entire prehistoric world and be known by countless prehistoric beings.
Boom tilde tilde.
As soon as the words came out, the entire prehistoric world was shaken. The world's laws of heaven and earth roared, causing huge vibrations, and the endless void was humming and shaking. It seemed that the heaven in this world heard the words of the moral God and responded immediately. The void with a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers trembled, and the earth surged golden lotus, with purple energy coming from the east for hundreds of millions of miles. There are streaks of auspicious energy, bursts of rays of light, and everything around is kneeling on the ground. Especially the group of human beings are at a loss, feeling the pressure. They are all kneeling on the ground, no matter what dare to act rashly. This is the pressure of heaven and earth.
Wow.
At the same time, the endless light of heaven and earth's merits descended from the 9 heavens, as well as part of the merits of opening the sky, swarmed down, and all poured into the deity Xianxia in his body. I saw that the bottleneck on the moral heavenly lord broke through in an instant, and finally stepped into the realm of a saint. He instantly mastered the 27 laws of the Tao. Waves of Tao aura lingered on his body, and bursts of Tao rhyme were exuded. With his body as the center, the realm of the great Tao was immediately condensed, and the void with a radius of hundreds of millions of light years was under his control. At this moment, his strength had simply increased countless times, and it was as perfect as the previous quasi-sage. It's totally different. There have been earth-shaking changes. It actually succeeded? Lingbao Tianzuan couldn't help being shocked when he saw this scene. To be honest, he didn't expect that his eldest brother would cause huge merits because he established a human religion in the ancient world, and he would help his eldest brother step into the sainthood in an instant.
Realm.
You must know that saints and quasi-sages are simply 2 different creatures. If they are not saints, they will eventually become ants. This is the cruelty of the world. Only saints can be chess players, otherwise they are just chess pieces. I see. At this time, Xianxia Tianzuan's eyes showed a glint, and he seemed to understand something. No wonder the eldest brother wants to establish a human religion in the prehistoric world and preach to the human race. The prehistoric world is actually a super-universal world that has not been completely perfected. Saints are still needed to help interpret and perfect the way of heaven, and saints are needed to teach countless lives the method of the way. Therefore, by doing this, the eldest brother was following the will of heaven and was immediately rewarded with the merits of the prehistoric world. With this immeasurable power of enlightenment, the eldest brother stepped into the holy realm in an instant. He immediately admired his elder brother for his understanding of the great ways of heaven and earth to this extent. He clearly understood that the world here is not perfect and requires saints to continuously promote the development of the world. If this is the case, can we also gain merit and gain enlightenment? Lingbao Tianzuan couldn't help but ask. This is naturally possible. Xianxia Tianzuan nodded. We, the 3 pure beings, are one and the same. The prehistoric world is so big. How can one saint alone perfect the power of enlightenment? Only the 3 of us can advance the prehistoric world. Development of. The depths of his pupils are flowing with endless creation and mystery, which is simply unfathomable. So that's it, I understand. Then I also want to establish a religion and preach to the ancients. Lingbao Tianzuan clenched his fists. At this moment, he also found his own way to become a saint. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 478. At this time, Xianxia Tianzuan stood up and said, "The Great Road is above. I am one of the three pure ones in the prehistoric times, born in line with heaven and earth. My name is Xianxia Tianzuan, Yuqing Xianxia, a disciple of the Lord of Chaos City. I am lucky to be blessed by heaven, receiving the grace of heaven. I should take charge of the merits of education and transformation, and now I have established a religion, which is called interpretation. I walk in accordance with the sky, spread the great road, preach to the ancients, and use the innate treasure Panga banner to suppress the destiny of the great religion. Those with extraordinary talents can join I explain my teachings and listen to my way."
Boom tilde tilde tilde.
As soon as he said these words, the energy of immeasurable teaching merits and heaven-opening merits came down from the sky, like a tide, crazily pouring into the limbs and bones of Xianxia Tianzuan. Originally, Xianxia Tianzuan was a quasi-sage, and he was just a step away from the realm of a saint. Now that he has received so much merit and energy, it is as if it comes naturally. It instantly helps him break through to the realm of a saint, obtain the holy status, and master the 27 laws of the Great Road. The unparalleled majesty of a saint permeates his body, as if it is the beginning of everything, unfathomable, and like the Great Road itself, exuding the ultimate aura of the mysterious road. It is natural for Xianxia Tianzuan to set up the teaching, which is very consistent with his character. You need to know what interpretation is. The literal meaning is to explain, clarify, and explain. The complicated point is to refine it, and then explain its beauty, and to change it, and then understand its number. To put it simply, it is a sect that explains the great Tao, so if a life without top-level talent, even if it enters the teaching, it will not be able to understand what the great Tao is. Therefore, Xianxia Tianzuan believes that there are only a few beings who have attained the Tao, and ordinary beings do not need to learn the Tao. It is enough for him to only teach the beings with outstanding talents. This is elite teaching. This is somewhat similar to the American educational philosophy. Real science is left to talented geniuses, and those with ordinary talents do not need to learn so much. Because of this, the number of disciples of Xianxia is not large, but all of them are peerless geniuses. At this time, another voice rang from the side. It was Lingbao Tianzuan who spoke. "The Great Road is above. I am one of the three pure ones in the prehistoric times. I was born in line with heaven and earth. My name is Lingbao Tianzuan. The supreme purity reaches the sky, and the chaos the disciple of the city lord. I have been blessed by heaven and received the grace of heaven. I should be responsible for teaching and transforming. Now I have established a sect called Jia. There are 3,000 avenues. One of them escapes. My sect is to intercept a glimmer of vitality for all things and preach it in the prehistoric times. Use the immortal killing sword formation to suppress the boundless luck of Jiejiao. Anyone who wants to follow the Tao can enter my sect."
Boom tilde tilde.
As soon as he finished speaking, Lingbao Tianzuan also received immeasurable teaching merits and heaven-opening merits. A huge energy surged into his limbs and bones like a flood. In an instant, Lingbao Tianzuan, who was already in the perfection of quasi-sage, now has a final kick, breaking through the bottleneck of quasi-sage in an instant, stepping into the supreme realm of a saint, and mastering the 27 laws of the Great Road. He also exudes unparalleled holy power, as if he is surrounded by peerless sword energy, spanning hundreds of millions of kilometers. Endless sword formations emerge from the wild, suppressing endless luck. Lingbao Tianzuan created Jiejiao because of his Tao and his teaching philosophy, which is to teach without distinction. He doesn't value his apprentice's background, nor his talent, but only whether he has the heart to follow the Tao. No matter what the other party's background is, they can all come under Jiejiao's disciples. This is actually the concept of basic education. Everyone is treated equally, and everyone is on the same level. Then, after brutal competition, only the disciples who stand out can get the true inheritance. Because of this educational philosophy, Jiejiao is the sect with the largest number of disciples, but it has also resulted in a mixed bag of good and bad disciples. Congratulations. Seeing this scene, Dao Tianzuan smiled slightly. His two younger brothers have finally become saints. Once they become saints, they will be able to leap out of the sea and birds to fly in the mountains. They will truly jump out of the 5 elements and 3 realms and gain supreme freedom, be qualified to become a chess player, and dominate the world. Fortunately, we have elder brother to give us guidance, otherwise we would not know when we would become saints. Yuanshi Tianzuan and Lingbao Tianzuan sighed with emotion. If the Dao Tianzuan had not become a saint and guided them on their own path, they would not know when they would become saints. Although they are already quasi-sages, they are just a little short of a chance to become saints. Saint, if there is no chance, I don't know how many years I will be trapped in this realm. In fact, in all the heavens and all the worlds, there are countless masters who are quasi-sage, but there are only a handful of people who can see through the secret of the saint, and there is not one among 10,000. Most of them are trapped in this realm and have been unable to break through. Since you have established a sect, you should recruit disciples. I wonder if you have decided where the dojo will be? Moral Heavenly Lord asked. Of course I thought about it. Yuanshi Tianzuan smiled slightly. There is a sacred mountain in the east, and its name is Kunlun Mountain. It is the place where the supreme dragon vein is located. It has beautiful mountains and clear waters, rich spiritual energy, and all kinds of birds and animals gather. It is a land of gods, and it is just suitable for me to become my interpreter. The place where the teaching headquarters is located. He chose an address called Kunlun Mountain. Kunlun Mountains? This is indeed a good place, with countless opportunities. Dao Tianzuan nodded, agreeing with this point. He turned and looked at his third brother Lingbao Tianzuan. Third brother, what about you? Have you chosen a place? Naturally, I have thought about it. Lingbao Tianzuan also nodded. I know that there is a supreme holy island on the East China Sea in the ancient world, Penglai Island. This island is the source of the East China Sea's dragon veins and has countless treasures. Moreover, the East China Sea is vast and boundless, with countless resources, numerous islands, and countless more treasures than on land. It is very suitable to be the headquarters of my Jiejiao. He said that he regarded Penglai Island as the headquarters of Jiaojiao. Well, Penglai Island is indeed a fairyland and the source of the East China Sea's spiritual veins. If this island is used as the headquarters, it will definitely be able to suppress the fate of the boundless East China Sea, and even the Dragon Clan will not dare to take the lead. The moral god said in a deep voice, Brother, I wonder where your human teaching dojo is? Yuanshi Tianzuan and Lingbao Tianzuan asked curiously. I plan to set up the dojo outside the territory and call it the Eight Views Palace. Moral Heavenly Venerable Way. Outside the territory? Can I still recruit disciples like this? Yuanshi Tianzuan and Lingbao Tianzuan were both confused. Natural energy. Dao Tianzuan smiled slightly. The disciples of our human religion all rely on fate. When fate comes, you will naturally become a disciple of our human religion, and you will naturally be able to find a dojo outside my territory. If you don't have a predestined relationship, you will naturally not be able to become a disciple of our human religion. To be honest, my human teaching is even more unbelievable. For example, Jiejiao and Changjiao have recruitment standards. They may have a desire to follow the Tao, or they may have outstanding talents. But the disciples of the human teaching all depend on fate. If there is no fate, no matter how high your talent is and how profound your skills are, you cannot become a disciple of a human sect. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 479. At this time, due to the birth of Changjiao and Jiejiao, the entire prehistoric world was in shock. Although saints were born to the 5 tribes in the prehistoric era before, the problem is that as soon as the saints of the 5 tribes were promoted, they left the prehistoric world and never appeared in this world again. Basically, they had no impact on the prehistoric world. Therefore, the creatures in the primitive world are in an ignorant era and do not know much about cultivation methods. They now rely on their own instincts to practice, which will be extremely slow and unorganized. Even though many prehistoric creatures had entered the Chaos Tower and participated in the Chaos Genius battle, the vast majority of the prehistoric creatures could not even pass the preliminary rounds and were directly eliminated. Because of this, the prehistoric world at this moment is in a desolate era, and there is an extremely lack of cultivation methods. Now, there are saints who are willing to establish a sect and preach throughout the world. What a big deal this is. At this moment, many creatures in the prehistoric world are making a stir. There are saints who establish Xianxia and Jiejiao to preach throughout the world. One is in the Kunlun Mountains and the other is on Penglai Island in the East China Sea. There is such a thing. You must go to Kunlun Mountain and Penglai Island to seek enlightenment and the way to immortality. It's really great. In our prehistoric times, we finally have a powerful person becoming a saint. We must worship them as our teachers as soon as possible. Many ancient beings are talking about it and are extremely excited. Their usual practice is to explore in the dark without forming a complete system at all. There are many shortcomings, and they don't even know the way to move forward. If they can worship the saint as their teacher, then they will not only with a strong background, you can also get a way to move forward and truly seek the road. However, one is the Xianxia and the other is the Jiejiao. Which sect should I take as my teacher? There are creatures in the wild who are confused. Because there are two saints who founded a sect and preached in the wild, they also fall into the difficulty of choosing. They don't know which sect should be better. Xianxia recruits talented disciples. If you think you have extraordinary talents and deep knowledge, you can go to Kunlun Mountain. Jiejiao teaches everyone without distinction. Although it also values qualifications, it values the heart of seeking the Tao even more. Maybe you can also go to Kunlun Mountain. Try your luck. Some primitive creature said in a deep voice, I have a good talent. I am an authentic Pangda sect. I should go to Kunlun Mountain. Although my talent is not bad, my bloodline is not pure. I am afraid that Xianxia will look down on me, so I'd better go to Jiejiao. That's right, Jiejiao teaches all kinds of things and doesn't reject anyone who comes. Maybe you have a better chance of becoming a disciple of a saint. No. It is precisely because of this that too many creatures join the Jiejiao cult, which is not conducive to one's own growth. With so many resources, how much is left if divided equally? That is, it is better to explain the teaching. Although we recruit elites, once we succeed, we will become disciples of the saints. Moreover, the number of people is small, and we will be allocated more resources, which is conducive to our growth. Stop bragging. You are all being vain here, talking as if you have joined Jiejiao and Xianxia. The two saint sects are at your disposal. For people like you, even if you arrive at Kunlun Mountain and Penglai Island, I'm afraid you will be kicked out and you won't even be able to see the face of the saint. Damn, you have such a bad mouth. If you don't speak, you will die, right? Many prehistoric creatures are talking about it. But no matter what, Xianxia and Jiejiao have become holy places in the hearts of prehistoric creatures. All prehistoric creatures with some strength are heading towards Kunlun Mountain and Penglai Island. But what many creatures don't know is that there is a third sect in the prehistoric world, and that is the human sect of the moral god Lao Tzu. But this is a matter of course. This sect builds a religion based on people and only recruits human disciples. As for enemies of other races, they cannot join the human religion. On this day, the moral heavenly lord took the form of a human, holding an innate magic weapon, a dragon and a crutch, walking among the human race's station, observing every move of many human beings and feeling many movements of the human race. Many human beings are very busy in the settlement. Some are hunting, some are building houses, some are raising children, and they live a life of bloodthirsty life. However, the surrounding humans cannot detect the moral heavenly lord because the moral heavenly lord is a saint. But they are very ambitious. They are not satisfied with just mastering a few Taoist laws and being promoted to saints. They also want to step into the holy realm with a more perfect Taoist foundation. It is not an exaggeration to say that one has mastered dozens of great laws, but one must master at least a dozen great laws. But this way, it would be countless times more difficult for them to step into the holy realm. In fact, the reason why there are so many quasi-sage and perfect masters in all the worlds is that they are very ambitious and do not want to become saints just by mastering a few laws of the Great Road. Even if such a saint succeeds, he is only the weakest saint, just a magic weapon, not worth mentioning, and will not be able to become a council member of Chaos City in the future. How could such arrogant geniuses like Kunpeng, Tai, and Dijuan be satisfied with such achievements? They also wanted to become god kings, or even masters at the level of god emperors. It is also because of this that they want to go back to the prehistoric world to compete for the position of the protagonist of heaven and earth, and then obtain a large amount of Hongmeng purple energy, so as to be promoted to the realm of saints in one fell swoop. No problem. Kunpeng waved his hand. Without Butcher Zhang, wouldn't we eat pigs with hair on them? Without Nuwa, with our strength, we can still become the protagonist in the prehistoric world. The problem is that we are not the only ones competing for the leading role in the world this time. There are also quasi-sages from other worlds, and even the gods are ready to make a move. The world will definitely become a battlefield for all races in the future. Tai said in a deep voice. Don't worry, Kunpeng said. Although there are many competitors, we have a huge advantage. That is, we are natives of the prehistoric world and do not have the restrictions of 100 million epochs. In other words, we can definitely enter the prehistoric world in advance and make arrangements in advance, 100 million epochs in advance. No matter how powerful the quasi-sages of other worlds are, they cannot match us. Even if those quasi-sages have the support of gods behind them, don't we have the support of gods behind us? If compared to the backstage, who is afraid of whom? He clenched his fists and was full of confidence. After passing the Chaos Genius War, there are benefits. The biggest benefit is that they have a master of the God King. In fact, this time they return to the ancient world to fight for the protagonist of the world, and there is nothing behind it. Without the push of the God Kings, they also want to use their hands to explore the deepest secrets of the prehistoric world. Of course, they don't know what secrets a strong man of that level is exploring. But this does not prevent them from learning from it. Benefit. If you want to become a saint, I'm afraid you need the support of a race. Just like the 5 prehistoric races in the last prehistoric era, are we going to join a certain race this time? Dijun said. No need to. Kunpeng's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. We are natives of the prehistoric times. We don't need to assist other races. If something unexpected happens and the leader of that race kicks us away at a critical moment, wouldn't that mean we are making wedding dresses for others? What to do? Tai asked. It's very simple. If there is no race, then we create a race. Kunpeng said. You must know that there are very few powerful races in the prehistoric world, but there are many weak races. We can definitely gather all these weak races and merge them into one race. Unify all the weak races and then merge into one race. Tai and Dijun looked at each other. Both of them were shocked to see each other. What a great spirit. If there is no race, then create a new race. Moreover, all the weak races are integrated together, just like all races are melted into one race. If this is not the strongest race, then what is the strongest race? They can feel the courage deep in Kunpeng's heart. Yes, we can call this race the demon race, and all creatures can be demons.
Kunpeng said decisively.
All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 484. In the prehistoric world, the tribe where the witch clan is located. At this moment, the 12 ancestral witches are also gathered here. They are respectively Lingxiu, the ancestral witch of Jin; Jumeng, the ancestral witch of wood; Gonggong, the ancestral shaman of water; Zhu Rong, the ancestral witch of fire; Tianhao, the ancestral witch of wind; Xianming, the ancestral witch of rain; Changliang, the ancestral witch of thunder. Shizi, the ancestral wizard of electricity. Dijung, the ancestral wizard of space speed. Zhu Jiuyin, the ancestral wizard of time. Shibishi, the ancestral witch of weather. Ho Tu, the ancestral shaman of earth. Among them, Dijiang is the leader of the 12 ancestral witches, and Shibishi is ranked last. In fact, the 12 ancestral witches were just like Tai Dijuan. Although they failed in the first Chaos Genius battle, they learned their shame and became brave, and finally stood out in the second Chaos Genius battle. They were also accepted as close disciples by Izuanshan King. So far, the Chaos Genius battle has been held one after another, and countless geniuses have been born. However, the 12 ancestral witches have now achieved success in their studies, and because something big happened in the prehistoric world, they all returned to the prehistoric world from Chaos City. Brother, the seal of the prehistoric world will be released after 100 million epochs. At that time, the strong men of all races in the world will enter this world, and then the prehistoric world will definitely become a battlefield for all races. Gong Gong said in a deep voice. Yes, these guys are very ambitious. They must want to become the protagonists of the prehistoric world, obtain the purple chi of Hongmeng, and become saints. Zhu Rong's eyes showed a glimmer of light. He had long known what the purpose of those powerful men in the world was. Ridiculous, the prehistoric world is our territory. How can we let those outsiders mess around? If anyone is the protagonist of the next prehistoric world, it must be our witch clan. Zhu Wupiang clenched his fists. You are right. We, the Wu clan, are the authentic sect of Pengu, with the blood of the great god Pengu flowing through us. If we are not the protagonists of the prehistoric world, then who is? Zhu Wujimong said in a deep voice. Whoever dares to seize my position as the protagonist of the Wu clan's world will die. The ancestral wizard Xianming is full of murderous intent. However, there are countless strong men in the world. With such a huge number of strong men coming to kill, I am afraid that even our witch clan may not be able to withstand it. Huda still feels worried. Even if their Wu clan is indigenous and has a large number compared with other powerful people from other worlds who are like wolves and tigers, they are really just a drop in the bucket. Just relying on the number of people can crush them to death. Wu clan. Don't worry. Ancestral Witch Emperor Jiang waved his hand. In fact, we have the support of the God Kings of the Giant Axe Arena. After all, we are Pengu's authentic sect, and the Giant Axe Arena was also created by Father God Pengu. Naturally, it is very important to our witch clan. Take care of. The Giant Axe Arena actually supports our witch clan? Brother, is this true? The other ancestral witches are extremely excited. If one of the 3 superpowers in the world presides over their witch clan and becomes the protagonist of the prehistoric world, then who can stop them? Well, the support must be secretly, not openly. After all, the gods also have their own considerations and need to consider balance. Ancestral Witch Emperor Jiang said in a deep voice. In short, there are not many extraterritorial creatures that can enter the prehistoric world. It is impossible to be more than the creatures in our prehistoric world. There will be restrictions. Therefore, our Wu clan still has a huge advantage in the prehistoric world. We don't need to worry about beings from other worlds swarming into the prehistoric world. If that's the case, then I'm relieved. Huda couldn't help but nodded. If they only entered some extraterrestrial quasi-sages, they could still handle it. What we should be most wary of now is Sanqing, ancestral, which Zhu Jiuyin's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. They are the direct disciples of the Lord of the city. Now they have been promoted to the realm of saints. At the same time, they are still living beings in the prehistoric world and are not subject to any restrictions. Moreover, they seem to be very ambitious in the prehistoric world, and at the same time they established a sect. They seem to plan to establish a sect in the prehistoric world and establish their own power. He felt that he needed to be wary of Sanqing, who was a huge threat. There are also the Zhundi Taoists and Jiayin Taoists in the Western world. They seem to have established Buddhism. Gong Gong also admits this. No problem.
D.
Jiang waved his hand. They just established a sect, not a race. Only a race can truly become the protagonist of the world and control the destiny of the world. There is also Buddhism. They are in the western region and are really far away from where our witch clan is located. We probably won't be able to contact them in a short time. Of course, they do pose a great threat, but for now, we cannot offend each other. If they defect to other races, it will be detrimental to us, the witch clan. He believes that for the time being, it is still necessary to maintain good relations with saints such as Xianxia, Xuanti, and Jane. Indeed, the most important thing for us now is to develop the Wu clan. Only when the Wu clan becomes completely powerful can we become the protagonist of the world. Otherwise, no matter how hard we waste our efforts, it will be of no avail. Other ancestral witches also know that developing their own race is the most important thing. It's a pity, if Father God Pangu is still alive, what will happen to other races? Zhu Wu Shizi sighed with emotion. God the Father is not dead. He is alive.
D.
Jiang shook his head. According to what my master said, Father God was severely hit by doomsday when he opened the sky, which damaged his roots. In order to save Father God's life, City Lord integrated Godfather's true spirit into the long river of time and space. Father God is still in the process of healing. Only at a certain moment in the future will he be resurrected in this world. It is not the time for Father God Pangu to be resurrected at the moment. There is actually such secret information. I knew Father God would not fall so easily. But how long will it take for Father God Pangu to be resurrected? This is not very clear. Other gods, even the God Emperor, don't know about such things. Maybe the City Lord knows, but we can't ask. Forget it, it doesn't make much sense to discuss this kind of thing. The most important thing for us now is to develop the power of the Wu clan and make every member of the Wu clan stronger. You are right. We must be the protagonists of the prehistoric world. Once we succeed, we will be able to get a large amount of Hongmeng purple qi in an instant, and all of us can become saints. It's exciting to think about it. There are 12 saints in one race. With such potential, there are many possibilities for it to become the pinnacle race in all the worlds. Not only that, our 12 ancestral witches can summon the true form of Pangu by joining forces, which is completely comparable to the saints. Even now, we are not afraid of those ordinary saints. In short, we must vigorously develop the Wu clan, increase the Wu clan population, and occupy the boundless land. Many ancestral witches were talking about it. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 485. As time went by, Dijuan, Tai, and Kunping returned to the ancient world, and the three quasi-sages returned to the ancient world with perfect power, which simply had the effect of calling for wind and rain. They directly used the banner of the monster clan to subdue the weak races in the prehistoric world and took them all under the banner of the monster clan. And these weak races originally had an extremely difficult life in the ancient world where strong men appeared in large numbers. They might be killed by other terrifying powers or wild beasts at every turn, and their lives were precarious. Now there are actually 3 powerful quasi-sages protecting them. There is no reason why they are not happy. These weak races all surrender to Emperor Jun and Tai. Therefore, the weak races are constantly conquering each other, which is like a snowball, constantly increasing the power of the demon race. Although they were just weak races before, with the support of Dijuan, Tai, and Kunpeng, the hundreds of millions of weak races combined became an extremely powerful race. Even the 5 prehistoric tribes, including the Dragon Clan, Phoenix Clan, Xuanwu Clan, Wood Clan, and White Tiger Clan, looked at him sideways and felt the power and momentum of the Monster Clan. They also avoided its edge. Because of this, the territory of the demon tribe expanded rapidly. They began to occupy the sky, occupying the stars in the sky, and gained boundless territory. At the same time, the Witch Clan, led by the 12 ancestral witches, began to occupy the land. The witch clan was originally extremely powerful, and every one of them had the blood of Pangu. They did not practice magic, supernatural powers, or souls. They only tempered their bodies and mastered various elemental powers. They are good at proving the Tao with force and breaking all laws with one force. Before, the witch clan only had brute strength, but after being taught by the god kings in the giant axe arena, the 12 ancestral witches acquired the true Pangu inheritance and acquired countless combat skills and techniques. As a result, these skills were taught to the clan members by the 12 ancestral witches, which increased the combat effectiveness of the members of the witch clan dozens to hundreds of times, and each of them became a killing god. Often a warrior of the witch clan can beat several practitioners of the same level. Moreover, the Wu clan's fertility is also very strong, and they can often give birth to a bunch of children within hundreds of years. They also began to occupy forests and build cities. Not many years have passed, and a large number of Wu clan cities have appeared in the ancient world. The Wu clan used these cities as their strongholds and began to control the boundless territory of the earth. At the same time, these Wu clan also subdued each of the weaker races, making these weak races become vassals of the Wu clan. Of course, some of them did not try to challenge the quasi-sages of the witch clan. But the 12 ancestral witches joined forces at the same time and simply destroyed everything. In particular, they have a large formation in their hands. Its name is the 12 Heavenly Evil Gods' Great Formation. It is the most ferocious formation in the world. No one dares to block its edge, not even the saints dare to take advantage of it. Therefore, the 12 ancestral witches are invincible on the ancient land, and they have the aura of a land overlord. They are more terrifying than the 5 original tribes. Of course, except for the movements of the Monster Clan and the Witch Clan. On Kunlun Mountain, the teaching created by Xianxia Tianzuan also attracted countless geniuses from the ancient times to listen to the saint sermons. A large number of ancient beings tried to defeat Xianxia Tianzuan as their master. Of course, Xianxia Tianzuan's standards for accepting disciples are so high. Ordinary prehistoric creatures cannot enter the Dharma eyes of Xianxia Tianzuan, and most of those who come to become disciples cannot enter the teachings. However, under these huge ranks of disciples, there are still many ancient beings who have successfully become disciples of the Chan cult. The most famous among them is the 12 Golden Immortals of Wuxia. They are Guangchengzi, Qi Jingjing, Tai Jinren, Manjusri Guangfa Tianzuan, Puxian Jinren, Zihong Taoist, Huanglong Jinren, Daoxing Tianzuan, Qingxiu Deodas Engine, Wei Lu Sun and Yuding Jinren and Yunzhong Sun. Of course, in addition to these famous 12 Golden Immortals, there are many younger disciples. The entire Kunlun Mountains are filled with immortal energy, their luck is extremely prosperous, and the general trend has become. And above the East China Sea, among Penglai Island, the Jiejiao destiny created by Lingbao Tianzuan is not inferior to Xianxia Tianzuan's explanatory teaching. At the same time, because Jiejiao's educational policy is to educate without distinction, the number of disciples it recruits is too many compared to that of Changjiao. First of all, the most famous ones are the 4 major disciples of Lingbao Tianzuan, Taoist Duo Bao, Holy Mother of Golden Spirit, Holy Mother of Wudong, Holy Mother of Turtle Spirit, and the 4 elite disciples of the outer sect, Zhao Gongming, Fairy Yunxiao, Fairy Qiongxiao, and Bai Fairy Xiao. In addition to direct disciples, there are also Huayongxian, Jingguangxian, and others who serve the 7 immortals, 3rd-generation disciples such as Wenzhong, Yu Yuan, Huling Shengsheng, and Yuda, 4th-generation disciples such as Yu Hua, Hu Lei, Ji Li, and Yu Qing. There are countless outer disciples, and there are more than 200 famous ones, such as the 4 saints of Kowloon Island, the 4 generals of the demon family, the 10 heavenly lords of Jinao Island, Luo Xian, the lord of Firestar, Lu Yu, the god of plague, Shi Ji Nyang, etc., are divided into 2 parts, islands in the East China Sea and those working as officials in business. In addition, Luohu Jidu, Zhufu Yubi, Juyao, Arbeisu, 36 Tiangang, and 72 Disha were all under the Jiejiao sect. It can be said that Jiejiao simply has many disciples and is prosperous. Fortunately, the East China Sea is boundless, has countless islands, and has many resources. It is much more than the resources on the mainland, so it can cultivate so many disciples. In the Western world, Buddhism is also developing in full swing. Taoist Junti and Taoist Jain also spread Buddhist ideas in the Western regions, saving countless lives in the Western world, causing countless wild beasts full of hostility to convert to our Buddha. The place where they were all turned into golden Buddha land, as if there were countless Buddhas singing in Lane Temple. Any life that comes close to Buddhism seems to be transformed by the Buddhist Sanskrit. The Western world, which was originally extremely chaotic and full of killings, now seems to have turned into a pure land of Buddhism under the governance of Taoist Junti and Taoist Jain. Those ferocious wild beasts, under the salvation of Taoist Junti and Taoist Jain, actually put on cassocks and began to chant sutras and recite the Buddha's name. The entire Buddhism is surrounded by endless power of faith and incense, which also makes Buddhism extremely prosperous and has gained a lot of merits from heaven and earth. It can be said that the Witch Clan and the Demon Clan are working hard to expand the power of their own races and have started a war. While explaining the teachings, intercepting the teachings, and Buddhism also developed silently, they continued to recruit disciples, spread their own ideas, and taught their own practice methods to countless lives. At the same time, the human race is unknown. They are now just a weak race in the prehistoric world. They don't even have the method of cultivation. They are extremely weak. Of course, under the protection of Dao Tianzuan, although the human race suffered huge disasters and suffered countless casualties, there was never a disaster of annihilation. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 486. At this moment, there is another place, in a chaotic void. A figure appeared in this place. The true identity of this figure was Zhang Yuanzi. Finally found the source stone of the world. Zhang Yuanzi smiled slightly. He was holding a white stone in his hand, about the size of a fist. It exuded bursts of the breath of the origin of chaos, which was extremely mysterious. The so-called World Source Stone is actually a strange stone born in the chaotic universe. Contains the original energy. Some gods call this stone the beginning of the world, the beginning of everything. If the energy reaches a certain level, this World Source Stone will transform into worlds. But such ore is very rare. There are simply a handful of them, and they have not appeared many times even in the auctions of Chaos City. Of course, the bigger reason is that even if a cultivator obtains the World Source Stone, he will not stupidly put it up for auction. But there is a treasure that even money cannot buy. Zhang Yuanzi spent countless years and finally found a top-notch world origin stone in the cracks of this chaotic void, which seemed to contain endless potential. With this world origin stone, I can create my own world. Zhang Yuanzi clenched his fists and was very excited. Originally, it was almost impossible to open up a world according to his perfect cultivation level as a quasi-sage. Only by reaching the realm of a saint can he open up a small world. But with this it's different with a piece of world source stone. He can completely use this precious ore to carve out a world of his own and integrate it into his own body. Ginseng fruit tree, go in. This place will be our world in the future. I will build this world into a unique world. Its name will be called the Earthly Immortal World, which will house countless unfettered immortals. Zhang Yuanzi waved his hand and immediately summoned a ginseng fruit tree from his body. This ginseng fruit tree is also the spiritual root of heaven and earth. It is an innate creature born from the prehistoric world. It has been dependent on Zhang Yuanzi probably since birth. At the same time, the two cultivation levels also complement each other. Yes, master. The ginseng fruit tree nodded. It flashed and immediately merged into the world origin stone. Its roots instantly penetrated into the world origin stone.
Boom.
Immediately, the world origin stone earth-shaking changes immediately occurred, and its internal space began to evolve rapidly, quickly evolving into a real world. The laws of time, space, life, and death, the world, The 5 elements, etc. were all condensed at this moment, as if the world was created. The entire world source stone has undergone drastic changes. The turbid air has descended, forming land. The clear air has risen, forming the sky. The ginseng fruit tree seems to have transformed into the world tree, its roots piercing into the earth, and this piece of land. The earth merges into one, and its branches and leaves extend out to support the sky. However, because this is the source stone of the world, it only opens up a small 1,000 worlds, so the pressure between heaven and earth is not as strong as when Pangu opened the sky.
So terrifying.
So even quasi-saint perfection can easily withstand the pressure of Kaitian. It is finished, my way is finished. In an instant, Zhen was extremely excited. He felt that the source stone of the world had merged into the depths of his consciousness, and all the laws were integrated with him.
Boom.
At this moment, the cultivation on his body waist simply made rapid progress, like a final kick, instantly breaking through the bottleneck of quasi-sage perfection and stepping into the realm of a saint in one fell swoop. Although he did not master as many great principles as Xianxia and others, he also mastered 24 a great law, with an extremely strong foundation and powerful power. This world is the earthly immortal realm, and all lives that enter the earthly immortal realm must obey my laws. Zhen laughed, extremely excited. To be honest, although he can also seize a small 1,000 world, or a middle 1,000 world, use his body and Tao to take these worlds as his own, and then break through quickly. But such potential is still too low. Among these worlds, there is no better world than the world created by oneself. The world created by oneself is the most suitable, without any sense of disharmony. The problem is that it is impossible to open up just a quasi-sage cultivation level. There is no such ability in this world. Because of this, Zhen set his sights on foreign objects, and the world origin stone was the strange object of the universe that he was eyeing, and it was extremely precious. With the help of this world origin stone with the power of Sure, even if he is only a quasi-sage, he can open up a world of his own, and this world can continue to evolve. Don't look at it now as just a small 1,000 world, but as Zhen cultivation continues to improve sooner or later, this small world will evolve into a middle world or even a big world. Okay, the next step is to attract countless immortals into my world and promote the evolution of the earthly immortal world. Zhen touched his chin. You need to know that if you want to promote the evolution of the world, you still need a lot of life. The more these lives are and the higher their cultivation level, the more beneficial it will be to the evolution of the world. So, he must also recruit a large number of Earth Immortals have entered his Earth Immortal world. Of course, he is not worried about other cultivators refusing to enter this world. After all, he has ginseng fruit trees and other innate plants, and has also planted a large number of spiritual fruits, elixirs, etc. With these resources as an advantage, he does not believe that those cultivators are not tempted. Regardless of the countless forces and races in the world, the largest number is actually casual cultivators. These casual cultivators have ordinary qualifications and ordinary cultivation, so naturally they will not be other forces take notice, and it is difficult for them to join these forces, so they can only become casual cultivators. The 5 masters of the universe looked at each other and made up their minds instantly. They are also extremely decisive people and will not hesitate at this time. Whoosh whoosh. As soon as the words fell, the 5 great masters, the Lord of the universe, instantly entered the fog of this great formation.
What?
As soon as they entered this great formation, the Lord of Earth and others immediately changed their expressions. They instantly sensed the terror of this great formation. This great formation, according to the layout of Sankai, there are 9 curves and 18 turns, which contain endless space laws. Just entering it, they instantly know that they have entered an endless maze. Even the divine consciousness cannot penetrate this formation, surrounded by fog. Oops, we were fooled. This formation is too dangerous, beyond imagination. We have to get out immediately, otherwise we will die. The Lord of Fire's face changed drastically. He wanted to leave this place immediately. It was too late. As soon as we entered the formation, we were instantly moved to another corner of the formation. We had entered an endless maze, and it was impossible to escape. The face of the Lord of Earth is also very ugly. It still underestimates this mysterious formation. This formation has 9 twists and turns. There is no straight line among the 9 twists. It is the wonder of nature. Even if it is the universe, Lord, it's hard to see through the secret of creation. Hateful. Other universe masters also tried to leave this formation, but they found that they could not travel through the void at all, and they could not find any way to leave here. It seems that in this place, the space has long been confused, and they cannot distinguish things at all. North and south seem to be in a chaotic void, with no direction clear. At this time, they began to feel the power of this formation. Oops, what kind of breath are these? And why are they corroding my power? The Lord of Gold shouted loudly. It suddenly discovered that the air was filled with endless black and yellow aura, as well as an evil aura. These auras were silent and submerged into its body in an instant, even into the universe within its body. And when these breaths enter its body, the immortal power of the Lord of the Universe is actually difficult to resist, as if it is being slowly refined by these breaths. As time goes by, if they do not resist, even the flesh and blood may be destroyed, and the soul will be completely corroded, and no bones will be left. Stop me. The remaining 4 masters of the universe also felt such a threat. They used the magical powers in their bodies and used defensive spells to form a law-air shield, trying to block such a breath from the outside. But they soon discovered that the approach is of no use at all. Good wait. The 5 masters of the universe instantly felt waves of terrifying gravity. The air was filled with boundless black and yellow air. The weight of each wisp of black and yellow air seemed to be like a vast world. And the air was not filled with the unknown. How many wisps of black and yellow aura, it's like the billions of trillions of worlds are crushing down, putting pressure on them. How can it not be heavy? If an ordinary cultivator enters here, even a wisp of black and yellow aura will be enough to push the opponent to the ground, unable to move, and his internal organs are torn apart. Damn it, this kind of breath has corrosive power. The 5 masters of the universe suddenly changed their expressions. The power inside the formation is not just that. In addition to the black and yellow energy that suppresses everything, there is also the evil energy that is also extremely terrifying. This evil energy is not only corrosive to flesh and soul. It's so simple. Even the magical powers, spells, and magic weapons on the body can be easily corroded and refined. And this terrifying power can destroy the spirit of the immortal, eliminate the soul of the immortal, trap the form of the immortal, damage the aura of the immortal, and destroy the immortal. The original body of the gods will damage the limbs of the gods. The gods will become mortal when they enter here, and the mortals will die when they enter here. They feel that if they continue to stay in this formation, I am afraid that it will not take too long for them to be refined into in the pool of blood. The soul and flesh and blood will disappear, and nothing will exist anymore. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 492. No, we can't continue like this. We must break this formation. Otherwise, we will definitely die. The Lord of Earth shouted loudly. It now knows why none of the spies it sent before were spared, and none of them survived, because the power of this formation is so terrifying. Even the lords of the universe, like them, it is helpless, let alone those Hongmeng saints. I am afraid that those Hongmeng saints will be refined into a pool of blood as soon as they come in. To be honest, before coming, it had no idea that the power of the formation was so terrifying. I still underestimated the Lord of the Blood Sea too much. How to break through this formation? There is no weakness in this formation at all. The Lord of Water shouted. It tried to find the weakness of this great formation, but could not find anything. It was surrounded by one yellow river after another that ran through time and space, and all traces of the formation were eliminated. Even according to the Lord of the Universe, even with my cultivation level, it is difficult to find any traces of this formation. It is as if the entire formation is completely natural and has no trace generally. For the current plan, we can only forcefully break through, use brute force to resist brute force, and blow up this formation. The Lord of Earth is cruel. To be honest, it is very stupid to use brute force to resist the great formation formed by heaven and earth, because doing so is equivalent to using human power to resist the power of heaven and earth. The problem is that in this situation, it has nothing to do. The only way to deal with this great formation is to use brute force. Only in this way can we find a way to disintegrate this great formation. Brute force? If you hadn't told me earlier, I'm the best at this kind of thing. Let's see how I break this damn formation. Hearing this, the Lord of Gold shouted loudly and seemed to become excited.
Boom, tilde, tilde, tilde.
With its body as the center, endless golden breath burst out in an instant, and another golden universe vaguely stretched across the void and penetrated time and space. Deep inside this golden universe, one metal continent after another seems to have emerged. These continents are all condensed from various metals, exuding the majestic gung metal chi. Even within this golden universe, there are countless beings whose bodies contain the attribute of gold. Each of them is like a sword out of the body.
Kill.
In an instant, Xianxia took action. It took out a golden long sword from its body and slashed towards the formation in an instant. Whoosh! Immediately, from the depths of the golden universe, an explosion broke out. Billions of golden long swords came out, and each golden long sword seemed to have the power to pierce the world. Billions of long swords were blasted out at the same time, and they could explode everything, destroying everything in the world, including time and space. Everything seems to be shattered at this moment. I'm coming too. The Lord of Fire also took action, and the aura on his body was the most violent, as if there was a projection of the fire universe behind him. Deep inside this fire universe, it seemed that there were suns one after another. Each one the sun was burning scorchingly, emitting endless heat. It seemed that such flames were the ultimate in the world, capable of burning everything.
Boom, tilde, tilde.
The next second, the Lord of Fire punched out, and actually escaped from his body. Billions of red suns burst out, and these suns smashed down towards the formation. If other saints saw this scene, they would be frightened to death in an instant. Such an attack is really terrifying to the extreme. Billions of suns fall down at the same time. The temperature emitted by these suns alone is enough to absorb hundreds of millions of light-years of water and burn all living things to ashes. Not to mention the power of the explosion of billions of suns can simply eradicate all the creatures in this area. This is the power of the Lord of Fire. It is like the God of Fire, burning all the wasteland. At this moment, the nine-bending yellow river formation also felt that the threat immediately started to move.
Boom, tilde.
In an instant, countless yellow rivers emerged from the depths of the void, as if they had turned into billions of yellow dragons. Their entire bodies were condensed from black and yellow air, containing terrifying pressure. It was as if the first dragon was born in the world.
Roar.
I saw these yellow dragons making earth-shattering roars, blasting towards the two masters of the universe, and even mobilized part of the power of the origin dragon veins, making them seem to come to life.
Bang! Bang, bang!
These two forces collided crazily, like a crazy collision between the universe and the universe, erupting with an earth-shattering sound, as if the Big Bang had occurred. The aftermath of the power spread out, distorting the void. The entire universe, the array was roaring, but the nine-meander yellow river formation remained unscathed and did not shake the formation at all. The aftermath of all the power was sent out. The billions of yellow dragons also offset the power of the two masters of the universe. In fact, this is the power of the Juku Yellow River formation. It can transfer the enemy's power out of the void and move it to another void, thus not damaging the foundation of the formation. Because of this, no matter how powerful the enemy is, even the destructive power of the nine-bending Yellow River formation cannot be harmed at all, as if the enemy's power has been completely swallowed up by the formation itself. It has no effect. When Lord Jean saw this scene, his expression suddenly changed. I don't believe it anymore. The 5 lords of the universe can't break this damn heaven and earth formation even if they join forces. They all work together to blow this place up completely. It roared angrily and was completely irritated. The eyes of the other 4 masters of the universe also showed a hint of coldness. They also knew that now is not the time to hide their hands. If they don't use all their strength, I'm afraid they will soon be defeated by this giant. The power of the array is refined. And this kind of movement instantly alarmed the entire people of the original kingdom of God. What happened? Why is there such a big movement all of a sudden? Oh no, it's an enemy. An enemy has invaded our primitive kingdom of God. What? Who is so brave and dares to enter our primitive kingdom of God and make such a big fuss? He is the leader of the 5 major kingdoms, including the kingdom of fire, the kingdom of wind, and the kingdom of earth. It is the lords of the 5 major universes who have joined forces to bring trouble to our primitive kingdom of God. The 5 masters of the universe? Are you kidding? How could they come to invade our primitive kingdom of God? Many elders were surprised and extremely shocked. They also knew that the 5 major kingdoms had always been coveting the primitive kingdom of God, but before they only sent some spies here. They didn't take it seriously, but now it's different. The 5 masters of the universe joining forces at the same time is no small matter. Fortunately, they still have a mountain-guarding formation to protect this land. If it were not for this formation, I am afraid that ordinary life in the original kingdom of God would be shocked to death by the auras of the 5 masters of the universe in an instant, and even if they are shocked to death, they may not know what happened. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 493. Oops, what should I do now? Everyone's expressions were extremely ugly because even with the protection of the mountain protecting formation, they did not have any confidence in facing the attacks of the 5 masters of the universe. If this continues, it will only be a matter of time before the mountain protecting formation is broken. Just a question.
Boom tilde tilde.
At this moment, in the depths of the primitive kingdom of God, in the deepest part of the Xianxia exquisite tower of merit, a terrifying aura filled the air and enveloped the entire primitive kingdom in an instant. The chaotic void in all directions seemed to be at this moment. Waves of void ripples appeared, sweeping in all directions, as if they controlled the space and time in an instant. This is the breath of the Lord of the Kingdom. The Lord of the Kingdom has awakened. Suddenly, everyone was not surprised but overjoyed, because they were very familiar with such a breath. It was none other than the king of the original kingdom of God, the super strong man who had saved the Lord of the Blood Sea. Everyone immediately calmed down. If the king personally takes action, then the 5 masters of the universe outside will not be afraid, and there is no need to worry at all. At this time, in the deepest part of the black and yellow exquisite tower of merit, a figure sat cross-legged on a futon. At this moment, he opened his eyes, and his body exuded an inexplicable mysterious aura, as if he contained a chaotic universe within his body, containing boundless chaos. Power unfathomable. He is Furukawa. Originally, he was in a state of seclusion, constantly devouring the energy of the origin dragon vein and enhancing the original energy in his body. However, at this time, he was awakened by the power of the 5 lords of the universe, interrupting his practice. There are actually 5 masters of the universe invading my original kingdom of God? Furukawa opened his eyes. The runes of Chaos Bagua were flowing in the depths of his pupils, and endless messages were flowing in the depths of his consciousness. He knew what had happened in an instant. Obviously, during his retreat, the original what happened in the kingdom of God aroused the fear of the kings of the 5 nearby kingdoms. Now they finally couldn't help it anymore and wanted to come to find out the news. Unfortunately, These 5 kings underestimated the power of the Juku Yellow River Formation, even if they were close to the elementary level. Even the perfect master of the universe, the strong man, could not escape from the 9-bend Yellow River Formation. So the 5 masters of the universe were completely panicked and began to bombard the 9-bend Yellow River Formation, trying to escape from this extremely dangerous formation. And such movement naturally woke up Furukawa, who was practicing in seclusion. You are very courageous. If I don't come to trouble you, you come to trouble me. If that's the case, then just stay. Furukawa's eyes showed a hint of coldness. After such a long period of practice, he has obtained the huge energy of the Origin Dragon Vein, coupled with the huge power of faith provided by the Lord of the Blood Sea and others. This has also made his cultivation level improve by leaps and bounds during this period. Get up. Now he has the power of 5,000 reincarnations, which is much stronger than before the retreat. Vaguely, the chaotic universe in his body seems to have gone through 5,000 reincarnations, and the world born in it is the origin energy was so huge that it was outrageous and unparalleled.
Boom tilde tilde.
At this moment, Furukawa was sitting in the black and yellow exquisite Tower of Merit. With a light finger, the 9-bend Yellow River Formation suddenly seemed to be under his control. It's like coming back to life. You must know that the Juku Yellow River Formation just now was just a passive counterattack. This heaven and earth formation was controlled by others and operated passively. They were simply 2 completely different states, and the power was hundreds of times different. More than that.
Wow.
Under the control of Furukawa, the power of the 9-meander Yellow River Formation skyrocketed in vain. It seemed that every Yellow River came to life, was given a soul, and contained endless origin energy. At the same time, except for the Yellow River, black rivers were also born, which were condensed from the dark energy of the original ancient snake talisman's hell space, containing the terrifying aura of death and evil spirits. Deep inside the black rivers, there seem to be countless floating there as a skull, and there are endless evil ghosts and countless demons floating on it. These are like rivers of Styx, basically the river of death. At this moment, countless black and yellow rivers, as well as the river of death, crush them down and attack the 5 masters of the universe at the same time, covering all directions without any blind spots. At this time, the Lord of Fire and other 5 masters of the universe originally wanted to take action again, but at this time, their faces changed in vain, and they felt a great crisis. The 9-bend Yellow River Formation at this moment and the 9-bend Yellow River Formation just now are 2 completely different things, just like a tiger that was sleeping just now wakes up. Damn it! The Master of the Universe who controls this formation has awakened. We cannot allow the power of this formation to reach its peak. We must take advantage of this moment to completely destroy the formation. You are right. Once the power of this formation is formed, we will be completely finished. Damn it, I don't believe that just one big formation can kill our 5 masters of the universe. The Lord of Fire and the other 5 lords of the universe shouted loudly. Evil arises from the courage. Rumble. The phantoms of the 5 universes, including the universe of gold, the universe of fire, the universe of earth, the universe of water, and the universe of wood, erupted from them, and the terrifying power of the universe surged out, destroying everything. The projections of these 5 universes simultaneously crushed down and collided with the formation.
Bang bang bang.
At this moment, the Xianxia River and the River of Death of the 9-meandering Yellow River Formation crushed down and bombarded the cosmic projections of the 5 masters of the universe, erupting with terrifying power. Suddenly, the chaotic void was exploded, and terrifying void cracks appeared, crackling and dense, like spider webs. Puff! With a sound, the Lord of Fire and other 5 universe lords could not withstand this extremely terrifying force. The universe projections on their bodies were exploded in an instant, like glass, split into pieces. Each of them couldn't help but a mouthful of blood spurted out, and the internal organs in the body were torn apart. Obviously, the blow just now was enough to seriously injure them. Damn it! This is not the power of the Lord of the Blood Sea, nor the power of the primary universe Lord. This is the power of the intermediate universe Lord, and he has at least mastered the power of thousands of reincarnations. Oops, I was fooled. The Lord of the Blood Sea is definitely doomed. Occupying this place is a medium-sized Lord of the universe. Run away quickly. You can't stay here. Otherwise, you will definitely be dead. The faces of the Lord of Fire and the other 5 lords of the universe suddenly turned green. With just one collision, they knew that they were not contending with the Lord of the Blood Sea, but the more powerful Lord of the medium universe. As for why this place is not a place of blood, it is occupied by the Lord of the Sea. Even if you think about it on your knees, you can understand that the Lord of the Blood Sea must be cold. This place is occupied by other lords of the universe. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 494. Thinking of this, the Lord of Fire and the other lords of the universe were so regretful that their intestines turned green. If they had known that this place was occupied by a medium-sized Lord of the universe, they would not have come to this place even if they were killed. But it's too late to say anything now. Don't hold back. We have to rush out together. The Lord of Earth shouted, trying to get the 5 lords of the universe to join forces to tear this formation apart, and then escaped. Still want to escape? Leave it to me. Furukawa raised his eyebrows. Sensing the actions of these 5 masters of the universe, his own territory was personally attacked. If he was really escaped by these 5 masters of the universe, wouldn't it mean that other people in his place come and leave whenever you want? How can there be such a cheap thing in the world? The secret treasure of the universe, the original ancient snake talisman. In an instant, he grabbed it with his big hand, and there was an extra talisman in his hand, which was the original ancient snake talisman. Snake talisman. I saw that the original ancient snake talisman at this time was much more powerful than when it was just in retreat. The whole talisman was like a primitive ancient snake, all black, as if it had come to life. It was obviously just a talisman, but it seems to carry the entire universe, containing the power of light and darkness, as if it is the combination of the 2 forces of yin and yang.
Boom.
The next second, this primitive ancient snake talisman smashed down instantly, bombarding the 5 masters of the universe body. What? The Lord of Fire and other 5 masters of the universe suddenly changed their expressions. They saw a black talisman landing in the sky. Their hair stood up immediately, feeling a fatal crisis. It was obviously just a black talisman, but they felt a mountain of heaven and a mountain of hell. The 2 mountains were crushing down and suppressing everything. Vaguely, they seemed to see that deep inside this talisman, there were billions of creatures living there. They were all primitive ancient beings. Snake believers are all reciting sutras devoutly. The extremely huge power of faith is crushing them, like the thoughts of billions of believers gathered together. The superposition of this force is simply the unbearable weight of the universe.
Boom, 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 tilde, tilde, tilde.
Immediately, the 5 masters of the universe had almost no resistance. Their bodies seemed to be suppressed by the universes, and their entire bodies lay on the ground, unable to move. At the moment when this primitive ancient snake talisman appeared, time and space in all directions were solidified, as if an absolute cosmic realm had been formed, which could not be shaken by any laws of justice. With a pop, the 5 masters of the universe could not bear such terrifying pressure. They were instantly seriously injured and could not help spitting out a mouthful of blood. How can it be? Just a talisman can easily suppress our 5 masters of the universe. The cosmic secret treasure. This is definitely the top cosmic secret treasure. How can it have such terrifying power? Damn it, we've hit a brick wall now. The Lord of Fire and the Lord of the Universe struggled hard, but under the suppression of this primitive ancient snake talisman, they could not use any of their power at all. It was like Sun Monkey being suppressed by Tathagata Buddha. He captured it with 5 fingers and sealed it. The The sky is locked and the earth is locked. No matter how powerful the opponent is, it is impossible to escape. Everyone, put down your butcher knife and believe in our Lord. At this moment, a figure stepped out from the void. He was the Lord of the Blood Sea, exuding boundless aura. I saw the shadow of a pagoda faintly appearing behind him. It was solemn, and extremely sacred. He was wearing the golden cassock is surrounded by the golden light of faith, and there are bursts of golden halo behind his head, which are halos of great wisdom. He exudes an aura of incomparable peace, tranquility, and peace, and it seems that all the sins and resentments on his body have faded away. All the murderous intent is just pure piety. Lord of the Blood Sea. Is this the Lord of the Blood Sea? The Lord of Earth couldn't help shouting. It immediately recognized the man in the golden cassock as the Lord of the Sea of Blood. After all, they had been fighting each other for who knows how many years. Even if the other person turned into ashes, it would recognize.
Impossible.
Isn't the Lord of the Sea of Blood dead? The Lord of Fire was stunned. Before, it thought that the Lord of the Sea of Blood had been destroyed by this mysterious Lord of the Middle Universe, but now he actually came back to life. What happened? Why did the Lord of the Blood Sea become like this? The Lord of Gold and the other lords of the universe were confused. Although they recognized that the guy in front of them was the Lord of the Blood Sea, the problem was that this was completely different from the Lord of the Blood Sea in their impression. In their impression, the Lord of the Blood Sea was an arrogant, unscrupulous, and arrogant demon who kills people like crazy and commits all kinds of evil. His resentment is overwhelming and his evil spirit is everywhere. But now, he has turned into the appearance of an enlightened monk. It seems that all the evil spirit has faded away and burned. All karma turns into devout believers. Fellow Taoists, I am the Lord of the Sea of Blood. The Lord of the Sea of Blood clasped his hands together. The reason why it turned out like this is all due to the Master. Under the influence of the Master, I came to a great enlightenment, put down the butcher knife, realized all the mistakes in the past, and now decided to start a new life. You are the same. Your body is full of sins, but your Master is a very compassionate person. As long as you are willing to put down the butcher knife and believe in our Lord, you will surely be saved. He looked at the other 5 masters of the universe with piety, hoping that the other 5 masters of the universe would also believe in Furukawa. This is pretty good. Furukawa touched his chin. It is indeed the case. Instead of killing these 5 masters of the universe, it is better to convert them all. In this way, you can always get the power of faith from the 5 masters of the universe and gain infinite energy. The benefits gained from this are unknown. And after converting the 5 masters of the universe, the 5 kingdoms behind them can be conquered silently, and even the citizens of the 5 kingdoms can become his followers. This is equivalent to his territory expanding 5 times in an instant, without any effort. It can be said that this is a hugely profitable thing. Crazy, Lord of the Blood Sea, you are completely crazy. The Lord of Fire roared. You are no longer the Lord of the Blood Sea. You are not the original Lord of the Blood Sea. Do you understand? Have you been completely brainwashed and become obsessed? You have become a different person, you know? Wake up quickly. It was extremely frightened. To be honest, it didn't expect that a cruel and violent Lord of the universe, like the Lord of the Sea of Blood, would actually become so well-behaved and be brainwashed to this extent. What a terrifying thing it is. As the Lord of the universe, he is unrestrained and possesses supreme power. If he is converted by others and becomes someone else's puppet, this will be 1,000 times more uncomfortable than death. They can't believe that the famous Lord of the Blood Sea it will become what it is now. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 495. Lord of Fire, I am not crazy, but you are stubborn. Hearing this, the Lord of the Blood Sea looked calm, and his pupils were extremely clear. You have no idea how much benefit you'll get after believing in my Lord. Originally, according to my qualifications, if I want to break through to the realm of the intermediate Lord of the Universe, I don't know how long it will take, and it may not be successful. But after I believed in my Lord, my heart became extremely clear, without any distracting thoughts. My breakthrough was overwhelming, and I was instantly promoted to the realm of the intermediate Lord of the Universe. If you also surrender to my Lord and believe in me, I believe that your cultivation will not stagnate. Each of you will advance by leaps and bounds, and it will be no problem to be promoted to the Lord of the Medium Universe. He looked at the 5 masters of the universe expectantly. But after hearing such words, the Lord of Fire and others not only did not feel any joy, but became even more panicked. Lord of the Blood Sea, you are crazy, completely crazy. What a cruel demon you were before. You did all kinds of evil, killing people like hemp and treating mortals as ants and food. The Lord of Gold was so frightened that his body was trembling. But look at yourself now. You are weaker than a sheep, more timid than a mouse, and more docile than a dog. Where is your rebelliousness, your unyieldingness? Where has your backbone and your dignity gone? Wake up quickly and return to your original ferocious and unruly self. To be honest, although the previous Lord of the Blood Sea was terrifying and murderous, he could understand it at least. But now, the Lord of the Blood Sea has actually become this virtuous, as if he has been converted by others. Like this, the scene made it shudder and hairy all over its body. What kind of power was this that could completely transform the Lord of the Universe into a dog as docile and loyal as a dog? This made it feel extremely frightened. That's right, Lord of the Blood Sea. Do you know what you look like now? You are a puppet. You are a puppet now, you know? The Lord of Water also roared, trying to make the Lord of Blood Sea wake up. Puppet. The Lord of the Sea of Blood clasped his hands together, and his eyes were as calm as the sea. What is a puppet? In this world, who is not a puppet, who is not a tool, who is not being used by others, and who can be truly transcendent, even if the Lord of the Universe is the real one? Are you detached? As long as we live in this world, we are not bound anywhere. In fact, restraint is correct. Only with laws and order can the world be formed. Otherwise, it will be chaos, it will be nothingness, and it will be the beginning of everything chaos. You are really too stubborn, and you are always entangled in this concept of nothingness. You are too persistent. It is precisely because of persistence that you have troubles. There is no relief. Take refuge. If you take refuge in our Lord and believe in our Lord, you will know what liberation is, what bliss is, what clarity, tranquility, and tranquility are. Bursts of chaotic Tao sounds emanated from his body, as if they were the voice of faith, containing the supreme true spirit of the Tao, and also seemed to radiate bursts of power of transformation. It seemed that under such golden light, ordinary lives could be transformed in an instant. When you become enlightened and enter a state where all 4 elements are empty, the seeds of faith will be planted deep in your heart. Damn it, this Lord of the Sea of Blood is completely crazy, and there is no way he can be saved. It has truly become a devout believer and cannot be reversed at all. Why is it like this? How could such a cruel Lord of the Blood Sea be saved? What exactly was done? The faces of the Lord of Gold and others changed greatly, and they were extremely embarrassed. To be honest, they almost believed the words of the Lord of the Blood Sea just now, and almost agreed. If they had not been guarding the morning platform, they would have been killed by the Lord of the Blood Sea. After being transformed, they will become the same as the Lord of the Blood Sea and become the puppets of the mysterious Lord of the Universe, and they will never be able to escape. To be honest, this is no longer as simple as becoming a puppet, but a transformation from the inside out. Transformation, complete brainwashing, that is converting one's heart and one's own way to the other party, and even willing to sacrifice everything for the other party, just like a saint. What kind of magical power is this? The 5 masters of the universe looked at Furukawa in horror. Unspeakable fear wells up deep in my heart. Are you willing to believe in me? Furukawa clasped his hands together and looked at the Lord of Fire and others calmly. His voice contained a touch of magic, as if making people enter a state where the four elements are empty and extremely peaceful. "You are wishful thinking," the Lord of Fire shouted angrily, his temper extremely violent. "You actually want me to become the Lord of the Blood Sea with such virtues, and let us become such puppets? Don't even think about it. Even if you die, I won't. I obey your will." As soon as the words fell, circles of destructive aura immediately emitted from it. What? The other four masters of the universe suddenly changed their expressions. They had no idea that the Lord of Fire was so strong-willed. "Without saying a word, I just want to blow myself up and die. To be able to become the master of the universe, who has not experienced hundreds of millions of catastrophes, countless epics, and worked so hard to become the master of the universe. They all cherish it extremely. If they are not forced to do so, it will not actively seek death. But now, the Lord of Fire actually wants to explode himself and die with the enemy. It is conceivable that the despair deep in the Lord of Fire's heart and the intensity of his temperament are definitely rare in the world. Want to blow yourself up? In front of me, even thinking about self-destruction is a luxury." Furukawa raised his eyebrows. Although he was a little surprised by the Fire Lord's actions, he had seen so many similar things that it was not surprising at all, and he had already been prepared. Whoosh! In an instant, he grabbed it with his big hand and immediately took out a cosmic secret treasure, the Morning Bell and Dusk Drum. This was a cosmic secret treasure obtained from the Bailey tribe. After so many years, he finally completely refined this cosmic secret treasure. The cosmic secret treasure, Morning Bell and Dusk Drum. But this cosmic secret treasure was so powerful before that even Furukawa turned his attention to it. In an instant, the Morning Bell and Dusk Drum appeared in the air. A giant bell and a giant drum. They exuded bursts of chaotic atmosphere, filling the air. They possess extremely mysterious power. Just by seeing their appearance, you can feel the power and unfathomable depth of these two cosmic secret treasures. Under Furukawa's control, they began to shake.
Bang, bang, bang.
Immediately, the morning bells and evening drums began to vibrate, and bursts of chaotic sound patterns arose from them, like the supreme Taoist sound, containing unimaginable magic power. And such chaotic magic sounds instantly covered hundreds of millions of people in a surrounding area. At the same time, it was bombarded towards the Lord of Fire and other 5 universe lords. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 496. Wait, what is this sound? What's going on? Why did when I heard such a voice, the violence, anger, panic, anxiety, and other emotions deep in my heart disappeared, and I felt extremely calm. Yes, it's like going back to when you were just born and listening to your mother singing. After living for such a long time, we have never been so peaceful. We have lived in vain in this life. Since we embarked on the path of spiritual practice, we have been pursuing a higher realm all the time and worried about being killed by other practitioners. It seems that we have not had a peaceful sleep for a long time. In an instant, the Lord of Gold and other 4 masters of the universe calmed down. Hearing such a voice seemed to put them in a state of enlightenment. All negative emotions were swept away, and their faces were extremely peaceful. It was as if they had an epiphany at this moment. Even the Lord of Fire, who just wanted to blow himself up and die, the anger and panic deep in his heart were swept away at this moment. His face calmed down, and he no longer thought about it. Since thoughts, it even seemed unprecedentedly peaceful, and began to fall asleep. You must know that these 5 masters of the universe are in the enemy camp and should be extremely vigilant, but now they are all sitting cross-legged and beginning to fall asleep. If the masters of the universe from the outside world saw this scene, they would all go crazy. But this is the supreme power of the morning bell and evening drum, the secret treasure of the universe. Once it is sounded, it has the effect of making everything fall asleep and realize enlightenment. Even the Lord of the universe cannot resist it. Previously, The Bailey clan had obtained this cosmic secret treasure and could not exert any power. But now that this cosmic secret treasure fell into Furukawa's hands, it instantly unleashed its supreme secret treasure power, which was so earth-shattering that even a junior master of the universe could easily solve it. As expected of my lord, it is so powerful to subjugate an enemy without fighting. The Lord of the Sea of Blood clasped his hands together and immediately admired Furukawa. He could control the 5 primary universe, Lord silently. This kind of magical power is really unbelievable. No. It's all the result of the secret treasure. Furukawa waved his hand and said modestly, if it weren't for the power of morning bells and evening drums, he probably wouldn't be able to control the 5 masters of the universe so easily. Of course, according to his own strength, killing these 5 masters of the universe is not a big problem. But just he is afraid that if the 5 masters of the universe explode at the same time, he will suffer a great loss and gain nothing. But the master, now that he has control over them, has a time limit for controlling them. I don't know how to save them, the Lord of the Blood Sea asked, now using the morning bells and evening drums to temporarily put them into a deep sleep, but sleep also has time. Once this time passes, they will still wake up and no problem will be solved. If you want to completely solve this problem, either get rid of them or they need to be tempered. It's just a trivial matter. As for the means to reduce them, I have already thought of them. Furukawa touched his chin. This is the power of the Beast King. When the Beast King becomes stronger, the population around it will become stronger and more people will be born. Of course, Furukawa also gained many benefits. Due to being constantly tempered by the morning bells and evening drums, as well as the Beast King's chaotic ripples, his original ancient snake body became more terrifying and abnormal, which also caused the chaotic universe in his body to directly expand twice. Moreover, dense notes of chaos emerged from the depths of his soul, forming a huge sound barrier. This power can block most soul attacks. Fantastic. Furukawa sat cross-legged on the ground. He felt very wonderful. Under the power of morning bells and evening drums, he felt as if his body was being massaged all the time and was being greatly tempered. To be honest, this kind of tempering method, it is more useful than any magical skill, because this kind of chaotic sound penetrates deep into the essence of the soul, the bone marrow, and even the genes. Furukawa's heart moved. He found that when his body was strong to a certain extent, it could accommodate more original energy. The huge power of faith from the original ancient snake talisman flooded into his consciousness, like a flood. Deep in the sea, vaguely, countless believers and the masters of the 6 universes were chanting sutras. A huge light of faith filled the air from them, seeming to erode the entire talisman into gold, blooming into a 1,000-foot-high light. Golden light. Crash. At this moment, the power of reincarnation in his body was increasing at a geometric speed. The power of 5,000 reincarnations, 5,500 reincarnations, 6,000 reincarnations, 6,500 reincarnations. At the end, the power in him has soared to the power of 8,000 reincarnations. To be honest, this is already close to the late stage of the master of the medium universe. It is only one step away from him, and he can reach the perfect state of the master of the medium universe. If when other medium-sized universe masters saw this scene, they would be so jealous that their intestines would turn green. After all, normal practice would take an unknown number of universe reincarnations. But Furukawa had 8,000 in a short period of time. The power of reincarnation is simply sensational. However, the reason why he practiced so quickly is not only because of his relationship with the chaotic universe, but also because he has gained a large number of believers, especially the 5 primary universe masters and a medium universe master. Believers. The power of faith contributed by these 6 masters of the universe is like the 6 origin dragon veins instilling energy in Furukawa. It is as if there are 6 more cultivation accelerators in the body, and the benefits obtained from them are unknown. In the end, it has something to do with the morning bell and evening drum. Due to the power of this secret treasure of the universe, his body's strength and qualifications have undergone earth-shaking changes, as if it has turned his body into a perfect body, excluding most of the impurities in the body, which also makes his cultivation efficiency has increased several times. If he transformed into a few lords of the universe again, he would really be successful. Furukawa touched his chin. To be honest, he had already tasted the benefits. If he could transform hundreds of universe masters and contribute a huge amount of faith to himself at all times, his cultivation efficiency would definitely increase. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. The Primitive Ancient Snake. Chapter 500. In any case, Furukawa is now facing a huge crisis. The Nar and its two companions may come to the chaotic universe at any time. He must increase his strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would die without knowing how. To be honest, he is only in the realm of the intermediate Lord of the Universe, and he is still far away from the title of Lord of the Universe. Even with the defense of the Chaos Universe, he does not have much confidence that he can withstand the attacks of the three title Lords of the Universe.
Wow.
At this moment, Furukawa's heart moved, and two magical books immediately appeared in front of his body. Countless magical talismans gathered together and condensed into this book. These two books of supernatural powers were created by him through the morning bells and evening drums, as well as the power of the original laws of Leia, and then he comprehended them. The Book of Divination. Furukawa looked at the first book of magical powers. This book of magical powers was actually a book he created based on the original laws of morning bells and dusk drums, combined with the power of transformation of the original ancient snake talisman and the technique of magnanimity. Only seeing that deep within the book, densely packed runes of degree transformation seemed to have emerged, covering the entire book as if it had turned into a supreme Taoist scripture. But if one looks at these runes of degree transformation carefully, they will suddenly appear. An incredible change occurred, and each rune turned into a monk. No, it cannot be said to be a monk. In fact, they are all believers of this book of magical powers. I saw these believers sitting cross-legged on the ground, beating the wooden fish and reciting scriptures. Countless scriptures came together to form bursts of chaotic Taoist sounds. And the combination of these chaotic Taoist sounds seemed to exert incredible magic, as if hearing such a sound all lives will be converted in an instant, and the seeds of faith will be implanted deep in their souls. Regardless of whether these lives are good or evil, they will be converted in an instant by the sounds of faith and completely brainwashed, thus becoming the original ancient snake. Believers. It can be said that this book of magical powers is extremely powerful. Once thrown out, billions of lights of faith will envelope the void, instantly converting the lives of the entire kingdom and transforming all lives into believers. The Book of Destruction. Furukawa looked at the second book of magical powers. This was a black book of magical powers. It showed spiral patterns and exuded bursts of black and terrifying aura, which was frightening. In fact, it was based on the sounds of morning bells and evening drums. The law, coupled with the original law of Beast King Leia, absorbs the essence of power such as the voice of the soul, thereby creating the power of soul destruction. Once this magical power is used, the terrifying soul magic voice will immediately erupt. It ignores all physical defenses and magical defenses, directly attacks the enemy's soul body, and instantly destroys the enemy's soul. It can be said that this magical power is specially designed to deal with those extremely powerful beings. Once this soul magic sound is played, it will let the enemy's soul be completely shattered and completely destroyed. This is a killing move, the pure power of sound killing, destroying everything. The harvest this time is not small. Furukawa waved his hand and immediately put away the two books of magical powers. He was very satisfied, because for the Lord of the Universe, the more means, the better, and the more spells, the better. In this way, we can deal with enemies who have endless ways to deal with them. Just like the Lord of the Universe with the title of Na, there are hundreds of millions of doomsday spells lingering on his body. You can imagine the terror of Na. No matter what means the enemy has, he can deal with it. It is probably still before the enemy can attack. The billions of doomsdays on the Eater will attack and eat the enemy cleanly, leaving no bones. This also makes the Eater powerful in the universe C.
So,
Furukawa is also to continuously evolve towards a strong man of the level of the Nar. He will create billions of magical books, each of which is a doomsday spell. If the enemy attacks, the billions of magical books will be destroyed. Shu takes action at the same time, and I am afraid that even if he crushes him, he will be able to crush the enemy into dregs and disappear into ashes. By the way, I seem to have a chaos magic weapon with me. At this moment, Furukawa's heart moved. He remembered a chaos magic weapon he had created in the chaos. Before, it could be compared with the original ancient snake talisman. But now it is far behind. In fact, when it comes to evolution, the potential is not inferior to that of a faith weapon like the original ancient snake talisman, and this magic weapon is 3,000 chaos coins. I remember that Furukawa created the chaos coin in order to create a general equivalent for chaos, so from then on countless chaos coins circulate in the chaos universe. And chaos coins have become indispensable coins for countless demon gods in the chaos universe. The first 3,000 chaos coins born have been bestowed with supreme merit by the origin of chaos. The light of the incense was directly tempered into a chaos magic weapon. Even as time went by, as countless lives used chaos coins, these 3,000 chaos coins were also tempered by the endless power of incense, thus evolving into a chaos treasure. It has incredible power. But even so, in fact, these 3,000 chaos coins are actually just embryos and have not been refined into other magic weapons by Furukawa, so this is a bit of a waste of resources.
wow.
Thinking of this, Furukawa waved his hand and immediately took out 3,000 chaos coins from his body. However, these 3,000 chaos coins were floating in the air, surrounded by bursts of chaotic light, exuding waves of extremely mysterious and unfathomable auras. It seems that every chaos coin contains incredible magical power. If any chaos coin is dropped, it will be crushed by a supreme magic spell, shattering the chaos void. By the way, what would happen if a chaos coin merged into a universe? Furukawa's eyes flashed. To be honest, the previous message coin can be integrated into a magic spell and can be thrown out without limit, just like a scroll of magical powers. But such an approach is still too weak for the Lord of the Universe. But if a chaos coin is integrated into a universe, then the power of this chaos coin will be increased countless times. If a coin is dropped, it will be like a universe colliding with it. 3,000 chaos coins, that is 3,000 universes. With so many chaos coins blasted out at the same time, it was 3,000 universes suppressing the void. Such power would cause even the Lord of the Universe to be seriously injured and his soul destroyed. Of course, he does not need to integrate into those advanced universes. Just the elementary universe is enough. Later, as the chaos coin becomes stronger, he can slowly evolve into a medium universe or even an advanced universe. Moreover, the elementary universes are as numerous as the sands of sand in the cosmic sea, countless. If he uses the wish compass to search, he can easily find the 3,000 universes and refine the chaos coins into a supreme secret treasure of the universe, which is powerful enough to shock the past and the present. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fabelversodio@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this journey through the Fabelverse, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Want to support the storytellers behind the scenes? Check the description for donation links, author credits, and more. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening.